to you live from Brooklyn, New York. It's the 2025 Blankies.
What a wonderful night for Blankies. Blankies, Blankies. Who will win? And some of the possible nominees are... Oh, Amelia Perez, affirming your gender and singing. Oh, Amelia, you ran a cartel. Guacamole smell, run a charity? I was very surprised that's what that movie's about. When the girl gets on top and she grinds till you pop, that's Sonora. When a rich Russian boy treats your heart like a toy, that's Honora.
Honora's a vampire now.
I also did Amore for Minari, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Skip ahead. Conclave! When there's white smoke, it signals that there's a new pope. Conclave! Conclave! Ray Fiennes leads the Catholic Church through changing times. Conclave!
He sure does.
I don't think you're ready for this shelving.
No.
I don't think you're ready for this shelving. I don't think you're ready for this because my style is too brutalistic for you, babe. That was a respectful nod from David. I'm watching Wicked tonight. I'm watching Wicked tonight. I'm watching Wicked tonight, but just part one. All I can say
That was
is that
Chicken
I
Tonight.
liked the real
I
pain.
thought too.
Culkin and Eisenberg stayed in their lanes.
Yeah, that's good.
He's a young Bob Dylan, conquering the world of folk. Wants to go electric, Pete Seeger's saying no. He sleeps with a girl named Joan. Plot of a complete unknown. This is a danger zone.
Okay, I was like,
Oh,
what is
yeah.
it? Okay,
I was trying to find it.
I got it.
Okay. Here's the big one. Why are the Nickel Boys? The school is real bad and real racist too. They mess kids around, and then worst of all, the film is all shot from their POV. I see what they see. Empathy. Okay, I'm typed out.
Oh, that was great.
Those were
That was
great.
great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Now let's acknowledge
A thrill ride as
for the
always.
first year, for the 10th annual Blankies, we brought in our Bruce Valanche,
Oh, yeah, that's right. And who's that, of course?
Sean Clemens of Hollywood Handbook.
How many of
Clem
those
Dog.
did he come up with?
Almost all of them.
Okay, great.
Nickel Boys was all me. I did some adjustments on a couple of them. This was almost all. Last year, he was like, hey, I heard you struggle to come up with the songs. I like song parodies. Feel free to activate me earlier. And I remembered to text him last night.
So Nickel Boys to Build Me Up Buttercup.
Yeah.
I see what they see was the big, that came to me.
Yeah. No, that was great.
POV! The school's bad. Shut it down. I was trying to figure out how to fit that lyric in there. I want to make it clear.
Close the schools. That's what we're
Shut
saying.
it down.
Close the schools.
Yeah,
Yes.
close the schools.
Right. What if you didn't like you like Nickel Boys because you don't like any schools?
Yeah.
Right.
Shut them all.
All right, Linda McMahon.
Hey.
Let's
Hello. Welcome
Welcome
to the 10th
Oh,
annual. People are pointing out that this is actually the 11th year of Blank Check,
Right, but we didn't do a Blankies Award in our first year.
which makes this the 10th annual. But people are saying, why are you talking about all this Decade of Dreams shit? This is year 11. Decade of Dreams is all about looking back. Much
Yeah.
like the 10th annual Blankies, which
Well,
are
it's
about looking back to 2024.
Right. It's like we've done 10 years
Yeah.
and 1 day and 2 days. Right.
Right.
But still, it's a decade.
It's a decade of...
I hate people listening to this
This
show
is
and
how-
commenting on it.
this is
Just
how-
be quiet. Turn
Hey,
it off.
It's also how
Ouch.
birthdays work and have always worked.
It is how birthdays work. Thank you.
That's how. Right.
And
everything
let me
else.
check my watch here. Well.
Uh-oh.
It's my birthday today.
Wow.
Happy birthday, Griffin
Ba-ba-da-da.
Newman and Blanky Awards.
Well. And what a great gift I got this year. The episode that stresses me out most. Yearly.
Oh, this stresses you out? You get too stressed out about these assignments.
Making these tough decisions. I'm moving things around still.
Well, it's tough out there to make those decisions. I understand that. But we, of course, are
As
here.
3-6 Mafia would say.
It is.
It's hard out here for an awards body.
Hard out there for a Griff.
I want to like, that's good.
How is 3-6 Mafia doing?
Great. They have 3 Academy Awards. They each have a trophy. What do you mean?
Like, their last album was released in 2008. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but you know what they can do? They can look on their bookshelf and see an Academy Award.
It was a deserved win, as far as I remember. It was. Good movie. I wonder if I would like it now. But
I have not seen it.
You know what? I actually didn't like it at the time. And now I'm curious if I'd like it more.
Yeah. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I liked the hustle. Maybe not so much the flow.
You weren't into the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like Hustle and Flow, Ben? Did you ever see Hustle and Flow?
I did.
You know, it's hard out here for a pimp.
I liked it. I love a gritty movie about a bunch of riffraff.
Maybe the flow this time around can be a bunch of animals on a little boat, hustling to make it through the floods.
And you know what? I love to see scrappy audio production.
Oh, well,
That
I
part
mean,
of it.
make it work culture was happening in this studio right before we started recording. So
That is true.
Ben Hosley.
We
Tip of
had
the
a
cap.
little bit of equipment failure, but thankfully we had an extra part and we were
my arm.
We were able to get things back on.
I red
track.
hulked out for a second there. I
You
guess.
People might be worried that now that Captain America Brave New World has come out and we as a culture have entered a Brave New World, that the Rolk reference riffs might end. And
Never.
I want you to know, first of all, we have maybe 6 episodes in the can where we talk about Red Hulk.
I'm
looking at him.
thinking about him.
I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah, he's looming.
He is
just
up there.
above me.
He is looming.
Our friends at Regal sent us a Red Hulk popcorn bucket.
Yeah,
and
you
buckets.
eat out of his back?
Oh, is that bucket connected to the Red Hulk?
No, that is an Avatar bucket.
Oh, okay.
This is literally just a bust, a very detailed bust of
Yeah.
Red Hulk Harrison Ford, and there's a slot in his back and you can reach in.
No. Oh, God. God does not approve of that.
Hey, our guest today,
Hey,
returning to the show for the 10th time.
getting better with age? I think so.
Getting better with age.
Yeah, let's say it.
Co-host of This Has Oscar Buzz.
Yes. Had Oscar buzz.
This had Oscar Buzz.
But you know,
Today we'll talk about things that also had Oscar Buzz, and it either
these has Oscar buzz.
came to be or not. He is also the godfather of the Cinematrix.
That's true.
Indeed am. I will
Godfather.
take it.
Father.
Speaking of things that are turning 1,
Hey, today is also the birthday.
I said last year when I recorded the Blankies was the very first day that Cinematrix went live.
Everything's happening. Joe Reid, aka Reading Ranger,
Thank you.
a nickname that I solely uphold.
The only person to call me that, and you know what? I appreciate it.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Guys, was 2024 a weird year for movies?
Nah, you know,
I'm thinking about this.
I'm thinking
and for
normal.
the first time.
Yes.
No, it's weird, right?
it was an odd one.
Very odd year for life.
You know what? That's a good way of framing it.
Bit of an odd year for movies. Why was it? I guess the strike that,
Yeah.
you know,
I think a lot of it is
a lot of weird stuff got kind of like gummed up.
a lot of it's the strike.
release-wise,
I
yeah.
think when the strike, the studios foolishly, hubristically thought they could avoid, and then went on so much longer than they thought, that when the machine started up, it was just like, we have to finish 5 tentpoles. And everything else was just kind of like backlogged. You also hear all these stories of just nothing getting fucking greenlit anymore. And during the strike, there was a lot of talk of like indie waivers. Well, the
Right.
indies get
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
Right.
But what people don't know, I had good friends who were ready to make a feature. And the strike happened. And I was like, well, can't you guys go? Can't you get an indie waiver? And they were like, the indie waiver list is so fucking backed up.
Oh, wow.
Right. Especially because all these stars were like, get me on an indie. A24 got a couple things through the pipeline, you know, like there were things that
Yeah,
happened,
things got approved.
but like they needed to be one by one approved. And so even the indie offerings were backed up.
And A24 had about 12 movies this year that you were like, well, this is probably going to be an Oscar contender. And
They
it's
had
like,
a
well,
weird year.
They're all competing with the inside the same house.
They had a
So,
weird year, and then they just bought something at
at the last
TIFF
minute
and just put everything on that.
at
And it
Venice, I think, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both, whatever. Who
Yeah.
knows? Everything. Yeah, it was a weird year. I mean, that is the number one reason. And also we've as we talk about every year, the last 10 years have been very transformative for the Oscars. And you now basically have this body that's at war with itself and is every year swinging back and forth on what it is.
Yeah. They're so international now. They're so very much and now all of a sudden this is why the Oscars are much more an extension of Cannes than they used to be.
Younger and artier, and that you still have old fuddy-duddies. And sometimes you have a movie that seems like a critic's darling art house festival play that then comes out bombs, and then the fuddy-duddies reclaim it. One of the weirdest award season arcs of all time, in my opinion.
Yes. Especially in the fact that it seemed at times that do you even know what you like about this movie? Because I don't know if you necessarily do.
But Netflix definitely thought buying Amelia Perez, this is at least Anatomy of a Murder, best case Parasite. They didn't think we're Green Book this year.
Right.
Right?
Well, because it was it's on the cutting edge of, we are being radically inclusive, and we are telling it's a trans musical drug cartel. It's in Mexico. It's international, yada, yada, yada. And every little element of this, the component communities were don't want it.
Just to be clear, we're talking about Hot Frosty.
Yeah, we're talking about Hot Frosty.
Netflix's riskiest bet.
Did you like EP?
So I saw it last night. I'd been putting it off this whole season.
Okay.
And I finally saw it. Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I did not like it.
It's very French.
It
is a very French movie.
I didn't despise it.
No.
I don't know if that's because I have seen it so late in the bell curve that my expectations were most offensive, incompetent, incoherent movie ever made.
It's a really bad musical, and I really don't like that about it.
It is a disastrous musical. You could do a subcategory this year of the broken musicals of 2024.
Yeah.
Amelia Perez, Joker Folie à Deux, and Moana 2.
Oh, which I still haven't seen.
3 musicals in crisis where it's you can't figure out why you're a musical.
Yeah.
I think Joker 2 comes out the best out of those 3.
As a musical or as a movie?
Both.
Wow. Okay.
David's making a stinky.
I would take Amelia Perez.
I liked Amelia Perez more than Joker Folie à Deux.
Watching Amelia Perez made me respect Folie à Deux even more. Have you seen Moana 2? The songs are so fucking bad.
I know.
I waited till the Oscar nominations and then it didn't get any. And I was like, that's a movie I do not have to see this year.
I complained that Folie à Deux, Todd Phillips didn't have enough conviction to really own the cinematic language of it being a musical. And then watching Amelia Perez, I'm he went for it much harder than ODR did. That's a movie that feels embarrassed to be a musical in a way that is weird to me.
Well, perfunctory more than maybe embarrassed.
I just think they don't know how to sing. So
right.
That's the major issue.
But also the songs are bad and the numbers aren't shot in any sort of
There's a couple exceptions.
I disagree with
I think there are 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joker Folie à Deux stinks. The songs are so poorly chosen. I will not get on board with the reclamation of that movie. It's so annoying to me. It's such a dull fucking movie.
I have it's better than Amelia Perez.
That's fine, but I don't like either of those movies, so I don't. That's not a conversation to me. But Amelia Perez is at least an original musical with songs written to match a plot. I'll give it that. I can give it that. I don't like that movie. I think it's also dull for a movie that's so bananas. I found it dreary, especially the last. Half.
I think I just committed harder to the songs in the intro to the Blankies than Amelia Perez does to its musical numbers.
The actors can't sing musical numbers. That's the issue.
That's not the only problem. There are 10 issues.
Well, but I mean, I'm just with the music. I'm just kind of
it felt like watching the musical cut of I'll Do Anything.
Right.
You could lift this and the movie plays the same.
Oh, God.
For Amelia Perez, yes.
This was Aukerman's take, which I think is really dead on. Where he's its single biggest issue in a lot of ways is its complete failure dramatically as a musical, in that the musical numbers, aside from them not being good songs, not being well staged,
they're punctuation,
not being well
rather
sung,
than plot movers.
They are just stating things.
Yes.
It's not the classic, the fundamental
now.
Musical should be, this is the only way to express a thing that narratively pushes the plot forward. And the musical numbers are just characters restating things. Without any charm.
With you. I also just think, whatever.
Which is what I'll Do Anything feels like. It felt like watching that. It's so weird that movie got fucking 13 Oscar nominations.
That's mostly, I just feel annoyed that I had to discuss that movie at all. It should have been just Oh yeah, that thing didn't really work, did it?
Played it can,
let's kind of put that in the forgotten bucket.
Richard Brody, I think, hit the nail on the head where he just pinpointed it. Its fundamental issue being that it is a deeply incurious movie.
Incurious.
Which I was like, that's the whole thing for me.
Incurious bastards.
Right. But it's a lot like Green Book, where I'm like, I don't find this movie offensive. I find it stupid and glib. I find the people who elevate it to profundity to then be offensive.
Sure. Except I think one of the people elevating it to profundity is Jacques Audiard.
Yeah. Here's the thing I didn't know.
And also Carlo Figo.
Until yesterday.
Yeah.
He's 72 years old.
Yeah.
The man's been around.
He's been around.
I spent literally like months evangelizing The Sisters Brothers, though, because we rewatched
it
that
for movie.
Oscar buzz, and I was like, I fucking love this
I love
movie.
almost all of his films.
And I was so high on Audiard at that point, and then Emilia Perez came along, and I was like, oh.
He had like 20 years in France writing crime movies and stuff before he, in like the mid-90s, starts directing. Like his first writing credit is in like the 70s. And I don't really know like why he spent so long, like not directing before he finally was like, you know what, maybe I'll, and then like started pushing out a lot of interesting movies. He's made a lot of interesting movies. He's also made, a couple misfires. I'm going to call this one a misfire.
Yeah, sure. I think that's fair.
But have any of us nominated Emilia Perez for anything today?
Nope. 0 noms. Goose egg.
Ben? Admit it.
Sweet.
It might appear in a category.
So luckily we do not have to bow to the Oscars' love of Emilia Perez and discussing it too much. But you did see it. You did your homework.
I did my homework. It's not good.
No, it's not good.
It's not good.
And, I watched a lot of these movies. Like 2024 is defined by me, like in the middle, my twins are born. I go on leave.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I miss. Thank you.
I'm hearing this for the first time right now.
I go on leave. I miss like fall festival season. I miss all the awards movies. I catch up with them all, like with their buzz kind of calcified, right? Where it's like I'm taking the temperature with. But like I go see
the thermometer.
Honora just like in the movie theater, like it was just kind of fun. I was like, great, this is great. I don't have to like worry about, oh my gosh, am I, whatever, like, am I going against the grain with this one? Or I go see Honora and I'm like, it was good. I can see what people liked about this one, right?
Yeah.
But then like other things like Emilia Perez is becoming like, okay, I guess it's on Netflix. I guess I'll get around to this. And just watching it being like, I don't have a lot of time right now. This is what I have to be doing with my time, which was Joker too, as well.
Sure.
So we're here to do our Blankie Awards. Joe Reid is here. Have we
Reading Ranger?
Yeah, you did the Reading Ranger.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it.
Ben Hosley's here.
Ben Hosley, the great Ben Hosley. He's just been.
I got a box. I got a thing of peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a bold move.
Yeah,
it's a bold move by me. And we should kick off. We don't need to do too much prelude, but we all agree 2024 weird year.
Weird year.
Yeah, here's my one qualifier. I always resent doing qualifiers. I regret doing it immediately, but I'm going to throw this out. I have had a rule that I've enforced only for myself in every year that we've done this, that anyone who has been on the show is disqualified due to bias.
Okay.
So who does that entail for this year?
Well, I Saw the TV Glow was very much one of my favorite movies.
Oh, just put it in your list.
I have exempted
Jane
in director and screenplay.
All right, you do
just
what you
the personal nominations. That was my one move I did.
I get it.
So just read into that snub as you will. I felt it was unfair. I put it in other categories.
Close personal friendship with Ryan Reynolds has forced me to disqualify Deadpool and Wolverine, and also If.
My close personal friendship with the purple guy from If has caused me to also reject it.
Isn't his name Blue? I couldn't make it.
Can I tell you about movies that I haven't seen this year? One of them's If.
Yeah.
I also did not see If, which features George Clooney.
We were all busy that day.
Yeah, somehow. If legged out some box office, I will say. Like it muscled through
money.
to.
It was the highest grossing original film in some year. I mean, we fight over this.
There's some way certainly to be like, right? Like it's based on no IP except ripping off other IP, I guess. Right? Let's see. Let's take a look because it's like
the whole box office list.
Yeah, because like Wicked, beyond it being based on a musical, it's like it's also it's playing with toys we know.
Absolutely. It's based on a thing that's based on a thing.
Yeah.
That's based on a thing. It's an adaptation of a musical. It's an adaptation of a book. That's an adaptation of the original.
Like, that's the thing. It ends with us crushed, but it's based on a book. based on a bestseller, right?
And it crushed. We all loved it.
I never saw.
Yeah.
Did not. Yeah.
No, but did incredibly well at the box.
Red One is based on Santa Claus.
That's true.
Yes, it's based on our greatest mythology.
Right. It's also based on quality. The notion of a high quality product.
Red One falling just short of 100 million domestic is very funny.
You know what? I hadn't been keeping track because
96.
I gave up at some point. I was like, fuck, it's going to cross it. That sucks. I'm really happy it stalled out.
It's sorry, 97.
The other one that stalled out that I kind of feel bad about stalling out is Nosferatu, because that got up to 94.
What's it up to right
still
now?
in theaters. It's not. It's going to need to like get an infusion of something to get to 100 million.
What? An infusion? Come here.
But I think it's also hanging right.
Infusion.
It's hanging right around.
It's a good beat voice. It will never get old. Has anyone called out that Nosferatu sounds like Watto? That it is dramatic Watto.
What does Watto say? Mind tricks don't work on me.
Only money. No money, no parts, no
drives for sale.
I would buy a ticket to Nosferatu, though. That is just the
Nosferatu. Red the boy.
Sebulba cannot be beaten.
I wish Nosferatu. I wish that Graf Warlock complained about Sebulba a lot more.
I got so much money on that motherfucker.
Sebulba.
Oh boy!
You know what's funny?
What?
Sebulba.
Sebulba's really funny.
As someone who spends too much time doing Watto comedy,
due for a comeback.
Sebulba.
Let's bring him back.
I really, you know what? I thought it was brave of Brian Cox in that interview to say that it's time to uncancel Sebulba.
Wait.
Yeah. No.
Who did Brian Cox actually want to?
Kevin Spacey. He won't stop saying it. He's done it 5 times in the last 2 months.
And meanwhile, Guy Pearce is like, I have some nails for a coffin for you.
Look, I know he had his weirdnesses, but Sebulba's one of the great pod racers.
I do have a Watto question for you.
Please.
How, are you taking care of your voice with that's a lot of.
It's a really well trained muscle at this point.
It just sounds like it would hurt to,
the answer
to do
is
that
that
much Watto
at this
voice.
point I have found a modified version that is easy to sustain.
Okay, good.
Right? So I'm just like, Watto in the movie is like, no money,
I just don't want
like that tension would hurt to do
that
for 2 hours.
Sounds like a nodule.
But that's why I don't
like
do
a
that.
nodule in the
That's why I'm like, hey, hello, welcome to the George.
Okay.
It's much more triumphy. I've gotten good at how to do it. Hey, let's start out.
Best supporting actor. What should we do first?
Best supporting actor.
Let's mention that Nosferatu is hosting the awards this year. Usually we have the past winners present. This year,
Audience of the Kodak
but it's
Theater.
It's 5 Nosferatus coming out to present each individual number.
Can we say who our winners were last year? Can we pull that up? Can you pull that up, Davey?
100% sure that we can. But don't we usually start with like supporting actor or whatever?
Yeah, so I'm saying, why don't you pull up our supporting actress nominees?
I'm going to. I
appreciate this. So
so you want to know who won supporting? Right. Who the so best supporting actress last year? Wow, it is a real trip down memory lane because of some of these movies I haven't thought much about.
This is why I like doing this.
Griffin, who is Julianne Moore from May December, presenting your best. You know what's she saying?
Okay. So we're gonna.
I'll say all right, fine. Okay. Mine is of course Maura Tierney from The Iron Claw.
Of course.
And Joe's, of course, was Penelope Cruz in Ferrari. Another person with a normal accent in the movie.
Very much so.
I was sort of coin tossing between Cruz and Moore, and then once you picked that, I put my chips down. Okay, I'm doing this last second edit, which is just removing the person who got the Oscar nomination, whose performance I love, to fight for my guys.
There you go.
Best supporting actor in a motion picture.
Supporting actor.
And I'm ready for right out the gate, David, to make a stinky poo-poo face. I'm going to be so angry about it. I'm going to be so angry. David, neutral face, please. That was the least neutral face I've ever seen. My nominees for Best Supporting Actor. Tom Hardy in The Bikeriders. Okay, his face stayed still. I appreciate it. Mark Edelstein, Honora.
That's his name, right? It doesn't have a longer name.
Maybe.
No, I think it's just I don't.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He just has a lot of extra
There's just a lot
Ys
of letters in there.
It's spelled in an interesting way.
Right.
Jack Haven, I Saw the TV Glow, credited as Bridget Lundy Payne in the film, citing this just for lack of
it's for clarity. Yes.
Adam Pearson, A Different Man. Chris Hemsworth, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
Now he is supporting, right? I mean, I wondered about him because he's he's sort of the lead of like
of the
a
parts
lot
of the movie
Look,
that are his.
It was
right.
obviously
but then he's also not in it for a while.
It was obviously my least favorite movie of 2024.
You hated it.
You will see it receive 6 spiteful nominations for me this year. I saw it 3 times in theaters. Across the 3 times.
With a grimace on your face every time.
Across the 3 times, I was like, let me do the math. Not stopwatch, but like really feeling, is he supporting or lead? The first act, he is absolutely like running.
Right, because
he really disappears for like
Furiosa doesn't even really
the middle
talk.
hour plus. I think it's firmly supporting, much more so than perhaps the person who is about to win supporting actor at the Academy Award.
All right, I've come around on this. I think there is a solid argument to be made that Kieran Culkin is supporting in that movie.
I mean, it's sort of it's a Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like when you have a two-hander, someone sort of becomes automatically supporting.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think you could almost argue that Culkin is more lead than Eisenberg, though. And I'm not stopwatching.
And the movie's about Eisenberg.
It's about
little bit more.
And it's about Eisenberg taking Culkin in and trying to make sense of him, which is to me what makes the lead supporting distinction.
It does begin and end with Culkin.
It does.
Does it? See, the other thing is I saw that movie more than a year ago.
Yeah.
And I do not remember it very well, except for the only scene in the movie I truly loved, which involved Jesse Eisenberg. So I walked away being like, Eisenberg did a good job. Yeah.
You were calling that you thought Eisenberg was going to win Best Actor.
No, I was calling him to make the 5. And then I was kind of like, who knows?
There was a while there where it seemed like that was a very good.
It was when it was pre-Timmy, pre the Dylan movie hitting for anyone, where everyone was like, who's even getting nominated?
Right.
Like there was this brief period where it was like, is this the weakest actor field ever? And then it kind of, everyone settled down.
Sure.
Right? Like everyone kind of settled down. They settled their asses down.
Who's presenting Joe's nominees?
Joe's nominees are,
Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Cruz from Ferrari.
I'm sorry. So Penelope Cruz is coming out.
I will not be doing an accent.
Weird choice.
My nominees, Griffin, you will appreciate a lot of these. Mark Eidelstein in Anora. Chris Hemsworth in Furiosa. Karen Karagulian in Anora.
Love that guy. Love that guy. Baker is going to be making a fucking Marvel movie and he'd be like, there's a rumpled Armenian guy, okay, who's stressed out for much of this. He's
conflicted relationship with his wife.
That's the Captain America we need and deserve is Karen Karagulian. Guy Pearce in The Brutalist. And Adam Pearson in A Different Man.
Guy Pearce was my last second ball.
Right. I mean, that's a great performance. And I think we all love Guy Pearce. Like right beyond liking that performance, we're just like, it's kind of nice to have Guy Pearce like landing a punch.
It is certainly my favorite of the 5 nominees and the one I want to win. I bumped him just purely because we're going to talk about him. And
you bumped him out of spite.
I bumped him out of spite.
Guy Pearce is interesting. So you like, I guess, wait, who are the 5 nominees? Because there's
my 5 nominees.
No, the 5 nominees. The 5. Pierce, Culkin, Edward Norton, who I do really love, in A Complete Unknown.
Jeremy Strong, who I also really love. It's a good 5, and Yura Borisov, who I assume we all enjoy.
I like all the Anora guys.
It's an incredibly
I just wanted to give because my thing with Yura Borisov is like, he's
already hot.
He's already hot. This is the thing. God doesn't need to give with both hands all the time. He's already super hot. So let's give it to. I feel bad that Mark Eidelstein has been like the forgotten one. Like Karagulian even at least got a couple of things. I think Eidelstein was so good at playing his character that everybody was like, "Fuck that."
This is my take, but we'll get into this.
Okay.
I think you're right that everyone was kind of like, is this just what this stupid kid is like?
Right.
Or something? Right.
I kept talking to people. Our friend Tim Simons.
Yep.
Was like, man, you're
who's always got normal takes.
Right. Perfectly dictated into his phone.
Yeah, with no mistakes.
Yes.
That's right.
He was like, man, Yura Borisov's like amazing. And I was like, really, Mark Eidelstein's the one who like kind of blew me away. And he went, yeah, but isn't that just Baker finding some kid who's just like this?
Which I guess is Baker's reputation, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing people say that. And Tim is such a great actor and such a good judge of acting.
Right.
But like that guy.
But he's like a Russian actor,
he's like
right?
Classically trained. He is like the Timothée Chalamet of Russia.
Yeah.
He's like the big young leading man. This part is like totally out of his wheelhouse. And I thought it was like kind of the most electric, like new to me performance I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
And the whole movie runs on the peaks and valleys of just.
But also that.
Yeah. It runs on Duncan.
Yeah.
But there probably was a lot of Duncan on
set. Probably
right?
jokes
aside, yeah.
Yeah, they were probably Duncan.
That Brighton Beach Duncan was
It was a dunk contest, I think. But yeah, no, the whole movie hinges on being like, I can't figure this guy out. Is he for real?
We love it. So my 5 nominees
presented by Maura Tierney.
Maura Tierney. Oh god,
Quiet,
she comes out and everyone's
painting.
like, God, She's so good. We take her for granted.
Wasn't she good in something this year? I feel like I just saw her pop up in something
Wait,
again.
I think you're right. What did Maura Tierney just pop up in?
I was very excited to see her pop up in something. What was Maura Tierney doing the pop up in?
All right, Maura Tierney.
I'm gonna figure it out while you.
You know what? I just saw her in the Criterion Closet, and she must. Well, Twisters.
It was Twisters.
Yeah, you know what?
Twisters.
The only problem with Twisters
is
that
clearly
it's not,
meant to be Helen Hunt's.
Well, that's true. That is very true.
Yeah.
But it is not, and right, it wasn't Helen Hunt's thing. Like, well, actually, I wanted to direct Twisters. And they were like, well, we weren't interested in you doing that.
Right.
So, my only problem with Twisters is it should be canonically in the movie Glenn Powell and Maura Tierney have fucked.
Yes, even though it's obvious to...
Right. Like, Glenn Powell and Maura Tierney have enough chemistry in that movie that you're kind of like, oh, I can go with it. But he actually should be like, oh, I know your mom.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Biblically.
My 5 nominees are, and I'm also, just for the record, kind of basically kicking Guy Pearce and Yuri Borisov out, who are both performances I like.
Look, once again, like, it's just... Why not take the time on these microphones to vouch for the people who aren't getting credit?
We're recording this at the tail end of Oscar season.
Yeah. But Guy Pearce would be my winner out of the 5 people they nominated. I think all 5 of those nominees are great.
I do too. I really like Jeremy Strong.
It's maybe the best lineup of the 4 acting categories.
And yet I think Kieran's going to win, and I think he's my least favorite performance, although I don't mind the performance, and I like Kieran.
I think the pendulum's gone, again, a little bit more against him than I think it should. The whole, he's just playing the same guy he always plays. Like, I don't know if I necessarily go with that.
Love the guy. I've been holding stock for so fucking long.
Yeah.
It will surprise no one to hear that Igby Goes Down left a very big impression on me when I was fucking 12.
I keep trying to rope you in to do that to this head Oscar buzz. Whenever you are ready to be on Zoom again, come on over.
Yes. Okay. We'll figure it out. My thing is, and I feel like I've said this before, with Oscar performances, I either want to see something I've never seen them do before.
I understand.
Or I want to see them do the absolute best version of it they've ever done, where I'm like, they've never gone this deep before. I don't buy into the Blankies just playing themselves, because it's all acting. Like, Kieran Culkin's not playing himself.
Acting is casting way more than people understand.
He is doing his thing, which he has never had this good of a vehicle to do in a movie at this length. It suffers in comparison to him just having finished a 5-year run of what I think is the best case of his thing, which he got a ton of awards for. So there's just the
but only at the very end, though. He was undervalued on that show for the first several seasons.
The last season really put him front and center, and he won his awards. He went out on top.
Swept the whole
It just happened in the last year.
Yeah.
So there was the part of me that's like, he's undeniably good in this movie. I have nothing against him. I just sat there being like, I'm going to be blown away.
This is sometimes how the Oscars work.
Totally.
Like, that's sort of, and again, like, we sort of push up against
and the heightening of TV in sort of prestige has led to this thing where people get this sort of like halo effect win of like McConaughey being pushed over the edge in the Dallas Buyers Club year because of True Detective.
Even a performance that I really love, like Regina King in Beale Street, was the culmination of her being like great on like 4 or 5 TV shows leading up to that.
And I feel like there's another one I'm forgetting recently, but yes, it's starting to happen more and more.
My
David.
nominees.
Yes.
Don Johnson, Rebel Ridge.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's been an iron lock for you for like 6 months.
A good fucking performance.
Yeah.
Brian Tyree Henry and The Fire Inside. A performance that when I saw it, I was kind of like, I think this could like waltz to a nom. And now partly a strong field.
Yeah.
Partly I feel like the film kind of getting a raw deal in its release and stuff. Like did well at festivals, but then like, kind of gets lost.
There was festival word for Brian Tyree Henry in Toronto.
Beautiful performance from an actor who never misses.
One of our best. Yeah.
Edward Norton in A Complete Unknown. The one nominee I cannot leave because that he nailed me to the wall.
Yeah, he's great.
J.O. Sanders and his 3 daughters.
David, I'm glad you did that.
An embarrassing
swinging in like a wrecking ball.
A movie I know I would love and I never got around to.
And a movie where you're like, oh, and does the dad ever show up? And you're like, oh, he shows up at the end, played by J.O. Sanders. And you're like, I bet that's good.
Yeah.
And David Weber in Hard Truths. The most undersung Hard Truths
This is
actor.
the husband.
Mm-hmm.
Perd?
What's the character's name?
You heard the Perd?
Is it Perd?
It's Kurtley.
Yeah, he's incredible in it.
Incredible and the most incredible carrying a bathtub down the stairs action of the year.
Yeah. That's
just
really
amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But no, just a performance that where like the tiniest when and going up against someone who's essentially playing like, you know, Nosferatu, right? Yes. And like the tiniest like ripples of emotion on his face.
Why are you trying to sell me a couch?
Pansy, you are so mean to me.
Oh, well, now he's Nosferatu too?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's a family of Nosferatu.
It would be funny, right? Pansy's like, why do babies have pockets? Why? They don't need them. What are they carrying? My winner... a late cut for me was Javier Bardem and Austin Butler in Dune Part 2, a movie that doesn't get enough acting acclaim for its great performers.
Austin Butler was very, very close for me.
My winner is Edward Norton, though. I just could not believe how much I love that performance. That movie blew me away generally in terms of like, I'm walking in going like, I hope this isn't long. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
I have to see this? What an obligation.
We've talked about it so much, but the arc of Edward Norton is just so fascinating to me, from being like, he is Brando, he is De Niro, to being like, no one is better at playing kind of earnest, straightforward people than Edward Norton, the king of overcomplicating things in the 90s.
Wes Anderson unlocked something in him.
But it's incredible. I'm like, he went from being like Stanley Kowalski times a million to being Howdy Doody.
Yes, but
he's so good at it.
I don't think you get this Pete Seeger unless you get him in like Moonrise Kingdom.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Also, he was like last second sub in. Like Benedict Cumberbatch dropped out like a month before filming started because this was a strike delayed movie.
Flumberbatch.
Yeah, Flumberbatch. Which like Cumberbatch looks more like Pete Seeger.
He does.
You could see that casting.
Honestly, he's a good actor.
He would have been good.
He might have done a good job, right?
But Norton gets the kind of like simplicity, the clarity. Yeah.
Pete Seeger is a guy who's really important to me. Grew up with his music.
Taught you it was okay to be weird.
He did teach me it was okay to be weird. And right, when I heard it was Edward Norton playing him, I was like, well, I don't like that. Like, that does not strike me. And so I just due credit to the guy.
When did you ever think you would describe an Edward Norton performance as like without vanity? Because I think like that's like lovely, right? Like generous.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, I just like that he's got two modes now, basically, which are mocking his reputation as an obsessive, self-impressed, blowhard, or playing the nicest guy in the world.
Yes. It's amazing.
Who are your winners?
I think, at the risk of being sort of boring about it, it's Guy Pearce in The Brutalist. He really just sort of like comes in that movie and like just you hit another energy level with that. When
hello, I'm America. I'd like to buy you.
Subtly, I might be bad.
There's a tinge of Plainview in there, right?
Yes. Oh,
like
yes.
it's great. Yeah.
Yes.
My name is colonizer genocide.
President Q Evil.
Yeah.
Yes. Guy Pearce for Joe Reid.
Yeah. Mark Edelstein's my winner.
You love that guy.
It just kind of knocked me out. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I just thought it was like, electric. And also the kind of thing where I'm just like, I've never seen someone like this before. I've never seen a performance like this. It made perfect sense to me. For a character that doesn't like explain itself, all of his behavior, which I think a lot of people maybe wrote off as like, he found a guy who's quirky. I'm like, I think that is like very smart analysis, like behavioral analysis of the way this guy would act out.
Well, and the way this guy sort of learned to operate in the world, and the ways he's never like the parts of his personality that have never formed, that have never hardened into like human being because he's never had to. He's just sort of been this little, like, you know, rich baby.
My other nominees, Tom Hardy and the Bikeriders. Welcome back. Just nice to see him doing fucking...
There's a lot of really good acting in the Bikeriders, too, and he's really great.
There's a lot of really good actors in it.
Yeah.
I'll say
I'm
that.
a big fan.
Okay.
But I thought Hardy was great, and it's like, this is the guy I was like all in on 6 years ago who has kind of disappeared down a well of jujitsu and Venom.
No, yeah. And I enjoyed him in the first Venom.
I loved him in the first Venom.
But like, you look and you're like, he basically has done no non-Venom movies since 2019.
Yeah, it is a good welcome back.
Yes.
I like that.
Jack Haven, I saw the TV Glow.
Great.
Movie I think we all adore.
Great
and
performance.
I love that performance.
Yep.
And is kind of like, it's another performance that the whole movie hinges on in terms of the energy. It's a lot like Mark Edelstein, where it's like, you have this main POV character who's basing everything off of the energy that this character is giving and the shifts they go through, especially their return later in the film. I found incredibly impactful.
And has to be a little bit mysterious, right?
Yes.
A little bit unknowable.
Yes. Yep. but played with specificity. Like what I look for in those types of performances is like, I can't pin this down, but I have a sense that the actor has it figured out. They're not being vague in their choices.
With Tom Hardy, it's like,
it's been bad.
If you ignore the sort of beautiful tapestry that is Venom, I love him in Dunkirk, but that's, a small supporting performance in a way.
It's like, also his last Nolan. He hasn't done a Nolan since then. That was 2017.
I know. Oh, I know.
He was the explosion in
he was.
Oppenheimer, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just going boom. Boom. Yeah. It's like
and he played
the Revenant.
You're going over a decade.
Yeah. It's like,
now.
Right? Like, and that was like
first
his
annual
last
Blankies.
Yeah.
Performance that was sort of like,
When's The Drop? I think he's very good in The Drop.
The Drop is 2014. It's the year prior.
They never see you coming, do they?
Like, that's the whole thing. That kind of like, that run of like Bronson to, The Revenant or whatever, where it's like 6 or 7 years of like, man, this guy has got so much juice.
I don't like The Revenant, but like, I think he's great in that. I was so happy where I'm like, okay, we've broken the seal. He's a guy who's getting nominated now. Warrior is my favorite performance of his. But yes, that was my guy. When this show started, I was like undeniably my favorite leading man. And it feels like he's on like the beginning of his elevation. Yeah.
I hope so. Is there anyone else?
Speaking of getting back, Chris Hemsworth taking the new male part in Mad Max, but doing an insane kind of inversion.
Was that always him, or did he replace somebody?
It was always
That was
him.
definitely always him.
Tom Burke replaced Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Gotcha.
But it was always Hemsworth. Who desperately wanted to play Mad Max in Fury Road and hadn't yet popped. And you see in that performance, I think, the energy of an Australian kid who grew up just being like, all I want to do is be in a Mad Max movie someday. And his lack of vanity.
Yeah.
Like you feel him being totally unleashed in that. I know some people ding the nose, and I think we said this in the episode. I think the nose allowed him to be freed of being Chris Hemsworth in a way that unlocks that performance.
This is great.
The nose plays.
I historically approve of weird noses in movies, being the Ours is #1 fan, so I get it.
Adam Pearson, my last nominee. It's just like
such a fucking funny performance.
It's so good, and it's such a like unshowy energy performance because the whole movie once again hinges on when this guy enters, you immediately go, oh, Sebastian Stan could have been happy.
Well, and
right?
not only that,
this guy is so effortless in his sort of like joie de vivre.
He can't be too effortful. He can't be too big, or else the comedy really falls apart. You really need Sebastian Stan to fall to pieces over this guy who is just being himself, but like cool, like
which is what's unshowy about it, because you don't want it to be like Owen Wilson meet the parents, like, oh fuck this guy.
Yes,
this guy's too slick.
Right. You have to have the plausibility of like, if he knows what he's doing it really like
the movie
slyly.
Basically hangs on him entering and you immediately going, oh, Sebastian Stan's character sucks. You don't like have contempt for Adam Pearson. You're like, this guy we've been hanging out with is a bummer. It's a great movie. Do you gentlemen want to run through your other nominees?
Oh, J.R. Sanders, I already shouted out. Check out that movie. That's another movie where it's like, I saw that like a year and a half ago, and I like that movie. I think it's good. His scene just kind of, is the showstopper for me. Don Johnson, Rebel Ridge would be so easy for him.
Surprised he wasn't your winner.
Norton came in and snatched it. Snatched it like Aaron Pierre snatches the gun out of Don Johnson's hands in Rebel Ridge. Have you seen Rebel Ridge?
No, I still haven't watched
it. You'd really like it.
Netflix. It's the Netflix problem. I know. It's the same with the Daughters. I'll watch it at some point.
Netflix, to the point of like Rebel Ridge is getting nominated for like TV awards. Like it's being considered a TV
what are
movie.
We doing?
Which is so fucking dumb.
Can I do my impression of Edward Norton snatching the award away from Don Johnson? Oh, excuse me. Let me just take this win quickly. There we go.
Can I also just say about Hemsworth, because I
the most gentle yoink of all time.
I'm not the Furiosa fan that y'all are, and that's fine. I'm gonna give myself permission to do that.
Yeah, let everyone get angry at you instead of pretending that we hate the movie.
Wait, do they think you hate the movie?
I think we hate the movie. Go on, Joe.
I'm sorry, guys. I listened to that podcast and I'm like, they're being real fucking lenient on fucking Furiosa.
What were you gonna say?
The thing I was gonna say about Hemsworth is, I thought he was getting real lazy in the last few Thor performances. And I was worried that this was just going to be an extension of that. And I think somewhat like Tom Hardy, I saw him sort of get reinvigorated by this in a way that like we kind of infused Hemsworth with more of that like that movie star and energy that we love.
Bombs, and the following Tuesday they announced that Chris Hemsworth will be the live action lead of the G.I. Joe Transformers team up movie.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah. I mean, there's been no further updates.
I know Transformers Beasts teased that.
Rise of the Beast ends with a business card that says G.I. Joe on it.
Hollywood's working so hard.
Movies
Come on,
are
guys.
Good.
Wasn't Hemsworth the voice of
Correct.
Optimus Prime in Transformers 1?
A great performance.
Yeah, he was good. He was locked in.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
But I'm like, we're failing this guy. He's trying to evolve.
I know.
I feel like there's another thing he just announced he's doing that I'm like, okay.
Chris Hemsworth has tried. He has over his entire career worked with major directors to make franchise stuff like Rush and In the Heart of the Sea and stuff, and it just often does not hit.
He
Bad Times at the El Royale,
to get, tourist, big budget studio movies bankrolled on his name. Like, he's not doing weird indies, but he's doing weird studio movies. And then he retreats back to, like, Men in Black International. The other one he's doing is the fucking live-action Prince Charming movie directed by Paul King.
Well, that sounds fun.
Sure, but I'm like, Paul...
Paul!
No, I'm disappointed in all those
anything you want to do, I will see.
My arms were on my...
But I also, like, I had that same reaction to Wonka. I was like, Wonka, and like, I fucking loved Wonka.
Yeah, but also, as I texted to David the other day, if Paul King had stayed on Paddington 3, maybe the pandemic wouldn't have happened.
Well,
it's just funny that we're all like, I wish Paul King had made a sequel, right? Like, we're like, how dare he try to do other things?
Back to the Blankies after these messages. And we're back to the 2025 Blankies.
We have to move on. Because as usual, we're taking too long. John Johnson, I just wanted to say, could have played that One-Dimensional. Doesn't. Watch that movie. He doesn't play it One-Dimensional at all. And you've probably not seen The Fire Inside either, you little twerp.
I haven't. I missed that.
I think it's hard
when
to
I
see.
had my fucking dental surgery. When I was in recovery.
He blames the dentist.
Well, that movie was like in theaters out of theaters.
Yeah,
it was very quick.
It was tough.
I'll say this. My little cousin George, our second finest movie critic, took him to see, maybe it was Sonic 3, and we walked by the poster, and he went, "Is that Creed 4?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Isn't like the next Creed going to be the daughter?" I forgot that the Creed movies are setting up that the daughter is going to be a boxer.
Oh, I didn't see the last two Creed movies.
But I was like, no, that's like another movie. It's supposed to be good. And he was like, really? Because it looks like a Creed ripoff. And then I looked at the poster, and it is Amazon MGM, who released the last Creed movie.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they are, in the marketing, making this look like Creed runoff.
Amazon's not very good at marketing.
Right. I think they totally missold that movie.
You keep bumping Lights, Camera, Jackson down the list of our finest film critics.
He's going way down.
He's just getting...
an alarming speed.
Yeah.
All right. Should we move on to... Oh, the Blankies. Oh, no, or I'll give you the Blankies after the choice, the reader choices, listener choices.
Yes.
Jesus. After we do supporting actress.
Best Supporting Actress.
But do you want to hear who our supporting actor winners were last year, Griffin?
I would love nothing more.
Okay. Well, apparently Griffin's winner was Ryan Gosling and Barbie.
Hell yeah.
My winner was Awooga, honk honk, get your goggles on.
Colin Farrell?
Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Taking the 430 auto gyro to Prussia. Yeah.
And Joe's winner was Charles Melton in May, December. 3 of the big performances that year, I feel. So who is Ryan Gosling telling us about, Griffin, for supporting actress?
My nominees for supporting actress are Alicia Witt in Longlegs, Alison Pill in Trap, Renata Ransva in A Different Man, Ramina de Ugo in I Like Movies, and Michelle Austin in Hard Truth.
Now, what is I Like Movies? I know you like this movie.
The great Chandler Levick.
I like movies.
Canadian filmmaker.
Yep.
A movie that played at TIFF like 2 years ago and finally got a very limited release, but is watchable on PVOD, and is like a great sort of inversion of the kind of Romana Clef autobiography.
Canadian kid works in a video store, but
young
he's also
man
a huge
coming of
pain
age.
in the ass. Yeah.
Yes, it is the the incredible kind of like response film to a lifetime of special little guy movies.
Yes,
that I grew up loving. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
it's excellent. She's amazing in it.
Yeah, I like.
She has that incredible monologue she gives in the video store where she explains her history.
It's the best Maria Dizia performance not given by Maria Dizia.
Correct. That's a great way of putting it. This was an actress I was not familiar with before, and it knocked me out.
Yeah, no, I really liked that movie.
Knocked you out? Go see a doctor.
My nominations are Michelle Austin, Hard Truths, Dolly DeLeon in Ghostlight.
Oh, there you go.
You know what?
Hey.
A late fill-in for someone else.
Borderline insane. I consider Dolly DeLeon for Between the Temples.
Oh, nice.
She is insanely good.
She's very good in that movie. Yes. Elizabeth Olsen in His Three Daughters, Tilda Swinton in Problemista, and Emily Watson in Small Things Like These.
I'll say the Tilda and Problemista was on my long list, and I was like, Joe's going to cover it. I don't need to do it.
I had the exact same.
Yep.
And I really like that performance.
Yeah, she's great.
Okay. That's great.
Your nominees,
my nominees are Anjanou Ellis-Taylor in Nickel Boys, Michelle Austin in Hard Truths.
The only one in all three.
Yeah, I mean, undeniable. Sophie Okonedo in Janet Planet.
Also strongly considered and left off because I knew you'd go.
Yeah, I had that one covered.
But one of my favorite actors.
That one covered.
Yeah.
Monica Barbaro Phoenix herself in A Complete Unknown. A movie where these guys ended up getting the noms, but I'm still just kind of like, I'm rooting for you in your big studio Bob Dylan movie.
Yeah.
But, hey, I liked it.
Yep.
And it's like, do I go weird or do I go normal? No, I'm
go
just
weird and then tell us the normal you left.
The normal one is Ariana Grande in Wicked, who I really think deserves, a firm handshake for the great work that she did in Wicked.
But not even having heard the weird one yet, I feel confident in telling you to go weird.
I don't know. I can't.
Who's your weird?
Oh my God, stop yelling at me. Like, you guys took my two weirds, I will say, which is great. You took Alison Pill, a performance I really like. And you took Tilda Swinton. I mean, nobody took her. Nobody can ever dare take Tilda Swinton.
She can't be
Tilda
taken.
takes.
She's given.
Yeah, Tilda takes you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess like at that point, I gotta go with Grande. I mean,
wow.
I don't know. I mean, I could go with like, no, I don't know. I'm going with Grande.
I will say, I went into Wicked as a real sort of bitchy little, I don't like Ariana Grande person.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked out of that movie being like, well, she's the best. Like, she's
interesting.
So fucking entertaining in that movie.
Mm-hmm. She's very good at the comic stuff. I've always been neutral on her, I guess, would be my Grande take.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. I like the movie. Okay.
I know you do. You like it okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the movie's got its ups and downs.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But like, she's definitely an up. She's a big old up.
Ups and downs. I thought it defied gravity.
I'm like, it's
really
like
should be staying in one place, right in the middle.
I'm looking at my other choices here, and it's just, like my other kind of.
Yeah.
I had Renata Reinse very close.
She's good. I love her to be obviously love Renata.
My three people I knocked off, but I was like, that felt like a pretty strong 5 to me. It felt pretty locked in. Joan Chen and Dee Dee, a movie I know I like a lot more than you do, David. I don't know.
That's a lovely performance.
But a lovely performance.
I thought she's great. But like the movie itself didn't entirely do it for me.
Ayla Brown and Furiosa, who's young Furiosa.
Kind of one of those things where I'm like, right,
movie.
Is that a great performance? Is that just great direction of a kid? Because she's so quiet and intense, and she's great.
Here's one I
thought about like Sophie Thatcher or Chloe East in Heretic. Both of them I think are good. But they're both kind of the leads. So I couldn't really.
Can I throw out the one I couldn't quite justify, but I was seriously considering? I think Zoe Deutsch in Juror Number 2 is one of the best making something out of nothing performances.
She's really working with very little.
In a long time.
She is working with very little.
I
love her.
I love her. I'm in the bag, but it's like such a stock character. You know that Eastwood's giving her half a take. And she's playing.
That was his direction for her in a scene.
And he's doing that in the middle of the take into a microphone.
Right.
I just think she is playing an internal conflict.
The scene with her and Toni Collette is better than it needs to be.
Yeah.
I had a hard time sort of figuring out what I wanted to do with the three actresses in His Three Daughters, a movie that I really loved. Like loved.
Yeah, it's a good movie. And they're all good.
And they're all really good. They're all plausibly leads. They're all all leads.
I think like Kuhn is undeniably a lead. And I think Leone is a lead. Olsen is the one where I'm kind of like, she's sort of more supporting.
The Julianne Moore in The Hours, where it's like the less of equals kind of thing.
Yeah, or the Shailene Woodley in Big Little Lies, where you're like, she's like a lead, but she has the sort of thinnest arc, I guess.
Yeah, but when she has her couple moments in that movie, she really nails it. As a spoiler ahead, I had similar issues. Well, I had issues with the Honora guys and also the Three People in Challengers. Just trying to. There's a lot of movies this year.
Well,
I was like trying to like sift through. I did as well. Loved Renata Reincev in A Different Man. She almost made it for me. Loved Ingenue Ellis Taylor and Nickel Boys. The hug of the year. I mean, come on. I love a good hug in a movie. I shouted out Maria Dizia already, but like Maria Dizia and Christmas Eve in Miller's Point is so good.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
I like that movie. Yeah. And she's really good. You know what? She's always good. Maria
She's
Dizia,
good in My Old Ass as well.
Yeah. All right. I think that's and that movie just I had to read My Old Ass out at the New York Film Critics Circle voting a bunch. You know, like My Old Ass, and everyone would laugh every time. You can't help but laugh.
Have you seen it?
No, haven't seen it.
I'll say this. That was a movie where people kept telling me it was good, and I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I was being very snarky about it.
I know what that movie is. Sure.
And then I watched in my post-dental surgery phase where I was like, what do I want to watch? Let me just watch like coming-of-age movies that mostly went to streaming that I missed out on.
Yeah.
And I watched that, and it kind of, David Call a Doctor, knocked me out. It's a much like wiser, deeper film than I was expecting.
You know what? I'll give supporting actress my 5th slot to Sienna Miller for Horizon American Saga Chapter 1.
Like that, and I'll say this, David, that investment will pay off when you see Chapter 2.
Oh, that's right. You saw Chapter 2.
Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 2. And she's got a fucking barn burner monologue.
Okay. I love her. For an actor who's given bad performances and like for a long time seemed like a total zero, right? Like it was like, oh, they tried to make her happen, it didn't happen.
Yeah, no,
she's really given some good performances.
Have either of you two seen Ghostlight?
No, that's a movie I haven't seen because I know it. I know it's going to be good, but it seems like it's going to bum.
I think it's the kind of movie that both of you would really like. It's also Kelly O'Sullivan is the writer and co-director who did a movie called St. Francis.
St. Francis, I loved.
Sure,
which is incredible.
And I was on the Gotham's jury for many years on their first film jury, and that was a first film that I would not have seen if I had not been serving on that jury, and I loved.
Gentlemen, who did you pick as your winners?
My winner is Michelle Austin for Hard Truths.
Great pick. Joe?
It was very close between Michelle Austin and Tilda Swinton for me, but I think I go with Michelle Austin.
A byproduct of us now having done this for 10 years is we've started to develop our own internal overdues.
Oh, you're like, right. I haven't actually given the trophy, the Griffy, to X.
My winner is Renata Reincev, which I think is my favorite performance of these 5, but also I did just double check, and I gave Best Actress to Rebecca Hall for The Night House that year.
Oh, wow.
Over Worst Person in the World. A choice I defend and stand by. But I think Renata Reincev was so good in A Different Man. I think the whole movie, it's another Hinge performance, but that's kind of what I like in these supporting performances. The whole movie hinges on him reappearing and her suddenly presenting an entire different backstory and changing all these details to him, and the realization of like, what the fuck is going on with her, which the movie never quite answers in a way that actually says a ton, if that makes sense.
She plays a villain in a really
it is not a judgmental performance at all.
It is not a judgmental performance. It is a very recognizable kind of like familiar villainy, which is just sort of like she's taking shortcuts, and she sees an opportunity to succeed in a way that sells out somebody, and
she's a quieter version of what's going on to him, which is just like everyone has an idea of how they could reset their life and reframe themselves the way they want to be, and she does that in a way that she doesn't understand is so fucking painful to him because she doesn't know who he's talking to.
Yeah.
The Blankies voters, the listeners of the show, have a 10 person list for best supporting performance that I will now read from bottom to top. So 10, Mike Feist in Challengers. 9, Ariana Grande in Wicked. 8, Margaret Qualley in The Substance. 7, Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain. 6, Jack Haven, I Saw the TV Glow.
Hell yeah.
5, Adam Pearson, A Different Man.
Hell yeah.
4, Guy Pearson, The Brutalist.
Hell
3,
yeah.
Yura Borisov and Honora.
And now I have to say hell yeah for everybody. Or
Sure.
Great.
2, Hemsworth. And 1, Josh O'Connor in Challengers. Now, that's not a supporting performance.
I agree. A big cocked eyebrow
now,
from old
I know
Griffy News.
that got run. I think maybe MGM sort of nominally ran all three, or do they run Zendaya as lead?
They ran Zendaya as lead because she got the Golden Globe nomination in lead.
All three of them are
comedy,
leads.
which is another conversation I don't need to have.
Feist is the one you can talk me into it. The argument.
You can talk me into
if you want to spread it out. But I think O'Connor is unquestionable.
It's a threesome movie.
Put a pin in this and get to it.
I think the pin is planted. And look, we can look at, MGM, Amazon's award strategies askance, but I think we can all agree it paid off beautifully for them. Checks notes here, blanked at the Oscars.
0 nominations.
What a fucking disaster.
Well, they did release my favorite movie of the year. I guess I'll give them that.
Yep.
MGM.
Pinning that as well.
They released 2 of my 5 favorite movies of the year. Okay, so let's move along to what should we do? The screenplays? What should we do here, guys?
Yeah,
let's do screenplays.
Yeah.
Fine.
Best Original Screenplay. Best Adapted Screenplay.
I got 6 in both. I'm going to have to make a hard cut at this
last
moment. I know.
Right. All right. So original screenplay. Here are my original screenplay winners. Then this is obviously being presented by the winner of adapted screenplay last year, isn't it? So that would be, Eric Roth shuffling out.
Perfect. Get Eric Roth out there.
Let's see. Who are my adapted screenplays?
And he wrote so much of that movie.
Yeah. My adapted screenplay nominees appear to be, I'm worried I didn't give this a once over. Dune Part 2, Hitman, Fire Inside, Furiosa, Nickel Boys, which is my winner. Spoiler alert.
I'm going to stand by this. My adapted screenplay nominees are Sing Sing, Furiosa, Nickel Boys, The People's Joker, A Radical Act of Adaptation.
Right.
Haven't seen it.
Is that sort of just nominally adapting the character of Joker?
Lore?
It is
right.
Undeniably an active adaptation and a movie about that in a way. And my 5th nominee, Sometimes I Think About Dying.
Is that based on something?
It is weirdly based on...
It's based on a thought that you sometimes have.
It is weirdly based on, I believe, a 1-act play that is just...
I can see that.
But here's what's weird. It was written by someone else, and the 1-act play is just about the party scene, playing murderer. You know what I'm talking about, David?
Yeah, for sure.
And then that
got expanded on.
And then a new writer came on
and
was like, what if I spun this character out and that scene becomes the centerpiece? I love that film.
There's a movie I saw 2 years ago, I think. But I like that movie.
But yeah, it came out January
2023. Sundance.
Well, right. It played January 2023 at Sundance. It was released theatrically January 2024.
Right. So even you saw it a long time ago.
Even I saw it a year ago. But yes, it's I give it more credit as an active adaptation because it is unfurled from such a weird specific piece with a couple different writers.
I thought that I was seeing that movie, and the movie that I actually saw was the feeling that the time for doing something has passed.
A movie I have not seen.
A movie I did not care for.
Okay.
So,
Joe,
your
nominees.
Screenplays. Conclave.
Conclave.
Peter Strawn. Dune Part 2. Denis Villeneuve and
John Spates.
Spates. It does sound like you're just sort of supposed to...
third name listed here, Muab Adib.
Muad'Dib.
That was close.
Nickel Boys, Ramel Ross and Jocelyn Barnes. Sing Sing, which is screenplay by Greg Quaidar and Clint Bentley, with the story credit to Quaidar, Bentley, Clarence Macklin, and John Devine G. Whitfield. And then Small Things Like These, who's Enda Walsh and Claire Keegan.
I got sent that book by the swag team behind Small Things Like These.
They did not.
I'm going to read it. I heard it's good.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's great.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Too busy.
But you saw the book, the cover.
There it is.
Yeah.
Sitting on my desk. And who's your winners, guys? I forgot to ask.
For Adapt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be Nickel Boys.
It's a really, really interesting way to adapt that book.
The only one all 3 of us nominate.
Is that your winner?
No. David, what's your winner?
Nickel Boys.
I think my winner is People's Joker.
Sure. Great.
Between that and Sing Sing. I adore People's Joker. I strongly implore people to seek it out. I went to see it assuming it was just going to be like a fun act of cinematic fuck you. And what I love about that movie is it really is kind of an argument for why, I refuse to call it IP, but it is worth adapting works and reinterpreting them through different prisms. It's sort of a movie about there's a reason we go back to the same stories because we find things that we can only express through those sets of characters. and it makes you frustrated about how often these things are rebooted in the same derivative ways over and over again. But I think it's like an incredible self-reflexive piece of adaptation.
The Blankies picked Nosferatu 5, Furiosa 4, Nickel Boys 3, Conclave 2, Dune Part 2 was their winner. Great.
Dune Part 2 is a sneaky, like, really interesting adaptation.
And it's a really complicated thing.
Like, they really,
like, what he's not.
Yeah. They move it around in some different ways. To end that movie on the note that it ends on is pretty ballsy.
What he did with Chani is impressive.
Yes, that's specifically, Chani's character. Yep.
Best original screenplay. SpaghettiOs.
My, of course, adapted screenplay winner last year was... Oh, no, I did this wrong. Okay, yeah, it's my best original screenplay winner is Wes Anderson. So here he is.
Hey, look at that.
What a delight.
My winner last year was...
it looks like it was Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I also went Wes Anderson. Okay.
Asteroid City, great movie.
Joe went
What did I do?
Joe, you went... your adapted screenplay winners, by the way, were Blackberry for Griffin and Barbie for Joe.
Hell yeah.
And Joe, you went with May December, a great screenplay for original. So my best original screenplays of 2024 are Andy Baker for Janet Planet, Justin Kuritzka's Potion Seller for Challengers, Jane Schoenbrunn for I Saw the TV Glow, Mike Lee for Hard Truths, and Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Evil Does Not Exist.
Joe.
Mine are Challengers, Justin Kuritzka's A Different Man, Aaron Schimberg, his 3 daughters, Azazel Jacobs, I Saw the TV Glow, Jane Schoenbrunn, and Problemista, Julio Torres.
My nominees for screenplay are A Different Man, Aaron Schimberg, Challengers, Justin Kuritzka.
You want to speak up a little bit?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just realizing I'm going to forget the names of some of these people.
Just keep going. Keep going. I can tell you the names.
Thelma.
I don't know who wrote that.
Oh, well, Mr. I can tell you.
Thelma was, of course, written by Josh Margolin, who I believe also directed it.
Yes. Hard Truths. I forget. Oh, that's who wrote it. Okay. And Hundreds of Beavers.
Oh, who wrote that?
Look it up, dude.
Is that a screenplay movie?
I'm
Mike
going to make the case.
and Ryland Tews.
I'm going to make the case. It is a silent film. It is a pure silent film.
Okay.
It is like one of the most beautifully structured films. You watch it. I'd heard a lot of hype.
I'm so resistant to this movie, Griffin.
This movie is so fucking good. You guys
so resistant
are going to eat shit.
No, I'd like to see it. I'd like to. Well, I don't. Now I really don't want to watch it.
I sat there and I was like, people have told me this is fun. It starts and I'm like, is it really going to be this the whole time? How long is this thing? Like 72 minutes? It's like 2 hours long. It not only doesn't run out of steam, it grows. There are like concepts in that movie that are so fucking complicated that are communicated with such elegance and wit. It blew my mind. I've seen it twice in theaters now. It plays like a fucking rock concert. I hope it is a movie that will continue making the rounds theatrically for years because it feels like a perpetual midnight movie touring thing. And it's incredible to watch with a crowd because it starts basically with silence of everyone reacting the way I did. And then by the end, it's undeniable.
My worry is that watching it with a crowd will make me like it less.
I think you're wrong about that.
Okay. All right.
My only question is how it plays alone.
Sure.
My winner is Andy Baker. Who's your winner?
My winner is Azazel Jacobs for his 3 daughters.
It's a screenplay movie. And I'm not saying that to say the directing.
I think I saw a lot of like this feels like a play. And I'm like, to me, I'm like, that's fine. You know, that does not diminish my enjoyment of the movie.
Feels like Griff's picking Beavers.
I'm a little inclined to do Beavers. There are 3 other things that are in there that I also know are going to win a different award for me. So I'm like, is there a spread the wealth argument?
I think Challengers is a really, really intelligently constructed screenplay that really nails the ending, which is the hardest thing to do. And that was his ending. And he, insisted on it.
I
think I saw the TV Glow is brilliant.
I agree. But I exempt it from this category.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He exempts it.
Yeah.
Exempted. But Annie Baker, she's my favorite living writer. And she wrote a movie for me and I got to watch it. She gets the trophy from me.
I'm going to do Beavers here because this is the one place where I can kind of make the case.
That makes sense.
Although I will say it also should have been nominated for Best Original Song.
Oh, there's an original song.
This
year's
not what you think.
Original song nominees are
David,
such a disaster.
you think you know what it is, and it's not what you think.
I honestly don't think I know what it is.
Yeah, the score and the song in that film are exceptional. But yeah, no, Hard Truths, Challengers, Different Man are all kind of fucking Hall of Famer scripts for me.
The Blankie picks
that I will give roses in other places
were A Different Man 5, Brutalist 4, I Saw the TV Glow 3, Anora 2, and Challengers 1.
back to the Blankies after these messages. And we're back to the 2025 Blankies.
Last time was a best animated feature, so let's do that again. Best animated feature, guys. What a year for animated features.
Stinky poo poo.
It's a bit of a tough year.
I limited myself to 3.
I have 5.
I couldn't do more.
The highest grossing ones were almost the worst ones, in my opinion.
Moana 2 and Inside Out 2 and Minions 8 or whatever.
Yeah, and I feel like there's another one that did well that I didn't care for.
Let's see. Certainly, right. Like, it's not like, I mean, Inside Out 2 smashing through every record was the moment the entire industry sort of trend line went from like, God, this year's a disaster to like, oh, I think everything's fine. Like, it was so crazy.
That's why I'm grateful for Inside Out 2 for
but
that.
It's also funny that it was Inside Out 2 that did that.
Yes,
right? Which I thought was fine. I think I liked it more than you, Griff, but I
think that movie kind of profoundly doesn't work.
Let's see what the other big animated.
Here are my 5 nominees.
Give me your nominees.
I gave a proper 5.
Kung Fu Panda 4 must be the other one.
Right. I started, it's white, right. It's a 2 2s, 2 4s. And what's the other one?
I don't know.
Of the highest grossing?
Moana 2, Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4, Kung Fu Panda 4. I don't fucking know.
There's one other one we just listed. I forget. I don't know. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Fuck you.
The Garfield movie's up there.
That movie sucks. I regret to say, at a certain point, I was like, let me go through more of the qualifying films because maybe there are some hidden gems here. And the deeper I dug, the less I liked what I found.
Garfield being a movie about reconnecting with his deadbeat dad is almost as infuriating as Super Mario Brothers being about Mario proving to his parents that
he's a good plumber.
Yeah, he's a good plumber.
It's almost like the people who run these animation studios have bad relationships with their fathers.
Almost like
don't respect them going into animation.
I'm good at cartoons, Dad.
Sonic 3 is the other one. Maybe you're.
That's not an animated film.
Okay, I didn't see it. I don't know.
Joe,
how dare you?
I'm surprised you would talk so rudely about Vic, my favorite character from the Garfield strips. We all love Big Vic, Garfield's dad, an important character. My 5 nominees for Best Animated Film are Memoirs of a Snail, which, spoiler, is my winner. Flow, which I admit is undeniable, but also had the most ill-timed bathroom break of my movie-going career.
No.
Oh, what, like you come back and like it's the apocalypse or whatever? What
I came back to the director's credit on screen.
Oh, no.
It's not a long movie.
No, but I was like, it's hard to pin how long this has been going on. And then I saw another wave coming and I was like, oh, feels like there's maybe another 20 minutes left. Let me run to pee now. And I came back and the movie had ended.
Oh, disaster.
I later watched it. The Wild Robot, Transformers 1.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is far and away the best
movie
of the animated IP slop, if I can call it that.
Yeah, no, that movie rocks.
And Look Back, which rules.
What's that? That's the Japanese movie. I haven't seen that yet.
It's like 52 minutes long.
Okay.
Well, sign me up. Wait, that sounds great.
You can watch it 3 times.
I'm going to watch it right now. I'm going to just play it while we do this episode.
But Memoir of a Snail was
I
my
gotta
favorite.
see that.
It's really, really fucking good. Did you guys have voiceover performance nominees?
I can do that in a sec.
Okay, well, list your animated film.
Yeah, let's see.
But it will tie to my...
Yeah, because my anime, it's rough. It's just Flow, Wild Robot, both of which I liked. Transformers 1, which I liked. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, which I liked.
It's a step down.
But I could have done with it being better.
Do you agree with my note?
Yeah.
What's your note?
It is the one Wallace and Gromit movie that isn't actually about their relationship. And at the very end, it tries to pretend it is.
Yeah, it kind of tries to squeeze it in there. I mean, but also it's like, what's there to say left about their relationship, I guess, right? You know, I mean, I liked it more than the bakery one.
Loved Vengeance Most Foul.
I find it very entertaining.
Yeah.
I also think it's at the exact wrong size between being feature and short, and it kind of can't decide.
I think Inside Out 2 is my 5th nominee by default.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think I saw any other animated movies.
Joe, your 3?
So my 3 are...
Oh, I saw War of the Rohirrim, but that thing
How
is
was
pretty...
it?
Oh,
I heard such bad things about it.
That is a homework-ass movie.
Yeah. I was excited for the concept of it, and then I heard just the worst things about it.
I was just like, if you're going to make an Ashcan movie, you could still make it good. And it's like not. It's very, very...
Do you guys know about This Christmas? Is that what it's called? I think it's called This Christmas.
The short?
It is a Netflix feature film.
Oh, okay.
In which Brian Cox is the voice of Santa Claus.
I'm Santa.
Ho, 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 fuck off. And it's based on 3 different Richard Curtis short stories.
That's right.
and that are kind of really mushed together.
Wow.
It's like trying to do animated Love Actually with children.
I'm going to watch that next Christmas.
But this is like one of the, I'm like,
this looks like trash.
It's bad. This is what I'm saying. I was like digging and I was like, Garfield's from Mark Dindal. Is there anything
There's a reason that Flo rose to the top. It's like, there was space for a movie like that to break through because all the animated offerings were kind of whatever.
Yeah. My 3 are Flo, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, Justice for Feathers McGraw, the greatest character
Love that
in
guy.
cinematic history. And then the Wild Robot. Yeah. My thing with
Wild Robot's good, by the way.
Wild Robot's
I dig that movie.
I really love it. Wild Robot is a manipulative movie that I was very happy to be manipulated by. I was just like,
that's a good way of putting it.
Bring it on me. I think Memoir of a Snail is a very well-made movie that, to me, is excessively miserable in a way that I did not appreciate.
It definitely is, and I think it is reflective of the way you and I differently respond to miserable movies.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I called it the A Little Life of stop motion animation, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not watching it now. I'm back to
that degree of just like pile it on, pile another one on.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
He has his thing that he does, and it works for me, and I could see it being cilantro for people.
You know who's great in Transformers 1?
Brian Tyree Henry?
I had no idea Transformers 1 was good. I totally ignored it. I put it on the pile of things I don't have to pay attention to.
Directed by Josh Cooley, who made the great Toy Story 4.
Okay. Yeah, I love Toy Story 4.
It's one of those things where it starts where it's like, we're just 2 Transformers. My name is like Optimus Prime, Berg. Like his name's a little different. Your name is Megatron Essence or whatever, right? And we're just,
gotta get those cogs. I wish I could transform
we're like miners, right? Yeah, we'll never do anything.
What the fuck is this? And by the end of it, you're hooting and
By the end of it, you're like, I can't believe Megatron would do that.
I'm gonna check it out. That's crazy.
There is truly
what a betrayal.
There is that moment where you're like, I am angry this movie has like.
So this is like childhood friends, Optimus Prime and Megatron.
It's an origin story for them. Although I think Transformers lore is so like deep.
I think
that it's kind of like a reboot of the lore.
Yeah.
Transformers lore is so deep is a sentence that is both incredibly true and sounds insane.
And just be clear, I don't like fuck with Transformers lore at all. I don't know it. I love to throw out random Transformer names that I think are funny, but I can't track any of this shit.
I think the whole thing with Transformers stuff is just like no one was really minding the shop, right? So like someone else would come along and be like, I'm going to do this. And everyone would be like, that's fine. We don't care.
But I
overwrite whatever has been written.
I like everything this movie's doing.
It also looks good.
It does.
Anyway.
Here were my 5 nominees for voiceover performance.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Jackie Weaver, Memoir of a Snail.
I give you that.
Which is my winner. She's
100%. She's great.
Fucking believable.
She's great.
Maybe the most emotionally affected I was by any performance this year, possibly. Maya Hawke, Inside Out 2. Compelled to make her my winner. I think she's the only reason that movie even partially works.
I think her character, though, is a huge problem, but her performance is quite
good. She's like, what do you mean? She paralyzes the kid with anxiety. She can't play hockey.
Papers over the fact that the script was not figured out. Right. I think she plays incredibly well. I'm gonna give it after, I so rudely snubbed him for Best Actor when you guys gave him the flowers years ago, and I think this is the time to properly give him a sort of career achievement.
Oh boy.
A Return of the King style nomination. For best voiceover performance, I'm nominating Tom Hardy as Venom in Venom: The Last Dance. That movie
great stuff.
Is kind of garbage.
Yeah.
But like anytime he's talking, I was like, right, this is the whole thing. Just do this.
It is.
Lupita Nyong'o for The Wild Robot.
Yeah, really great.
She's fantastic.
I was very compelled to also put Pedro Pascal in there, who I think is incredible in Wild Robot.
Could not place him
Which
in
one's
that
he?
movie.
He's
the fox.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't sound like him. It's transforming. He's really good and really funny. But it felt a little silly to do double nomination. So I, in my 5th slot, put in Robbie Williams as the narrator.
Yeah, Robbie Williams deserves it.
Is that how he's credited, the narrator?
Well, so
he's the monkey, isn't it?
The singing is his old recordings.
Right.
The character of Robbie Williams is voiced by the actor who did the mocap performance.
Frey, I believe.
Oh, that I did not know if
No, the John Frey is the cinematographer for Nickel Boys. Who I think, what's the
But his name is Jono.
That's why I'm confusing
Wilson?
it. I'm looking up.
Yeah. It's John O. something.
John O. Davies.
Okay.
Davies.
But Robbie Williams is specifically just doing the narration, which I thought was excellent, and we'll talk about that movie.
Robbie Williams is so overflowing with charisma. Like he's so good at like getting you through that movie. Like if you're like, what is going on?
Anyone complaining about I don't know who this guy is, I'm like, his narration alone is explaining to you through the energy why he became such
Robbie
a big
Williams
deal.
was not as famous in America as he was in Britain. That does not mean that he was not famous in America. He absolutely was.
He wasn't that famous.
But I feel like he was
right?
more
He was famous enough to like remember who he was.
But famous for sort of not happening.
A lot of people at TIFF were texting me like, can you explain who Robbie Williams is to me? Including, I believe, Joe Reid.
Me and Katie, but we were not asking, we were asking, explain the Robbie Williams, extent of the Robbie Williams phenomenon.
This is what's so crazy, right?
England.
That this guy is so big in England, so big in Europe. He comes to America and no one like gives a shit about him, right? And this movie's based on true story, and people were like, shrug, I don't care, I don't know who he is. And I'm like, this is incredible that this really happened, that there was a random monkey born who could sing and dance.
It's true.
And became a pop star and a sex idol?
You'd think more people would have remembered that.
That's a fascinating story.
But Britain's always got shit going. It's like, what's up with them? Like, they all like a monkey. It's like, yeah, it sounds like something you do.
Sounds like right.
I've been sitting on that bit for 2 months.
Great bit. I'll nominate. I like all your. John Hamm is great in Transformers 1 as the villain.
Ryan Pax, maybe?
I'm going to say Sentinel Prime, of course.
Ryan Pax, I think, is Optimus's name before he...
That's correct. And of course, Brian Tyree Henry is D16. He's not called Megatronicus or whatever I said before.
I would also say if we're doing narrators, Isabella Rossellini in Problemista is an incredible narrator.
Oh, she's great.
Incredible narrator.
Almost just a layup for Julio to use her as a narrator.
Oh, totally.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's so perfect. Again, casting is often
and
I
just love Paul Walter Hauser in Inside Out 2. He was great.
Who was he in Inside Out 2?
He's embarrassment. He doesn't really.
Can I do my impression?
Did the Blankies pick anything there? I don't think so.
You fucked up, Blankies.
I don't see it here. Okay, so
can I just while I was on the subject, give out best CGI monkey in a movie to Better Man?
Great. Sure. Do you have a winner?
There was stiff competition.
Who?
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I was going on for a while.
Wicked.
The VFX Oscar category could have been 5 monkey movies.
It could have been 5 monkey movies.
And it was...
That Gladiator 2 monkey needed a couple more go-rounds.
You can't deny there were a lot of CGI monkeys.
2 different monkey entities. One real and then a bunch of them CGI.
Well, let's move on to... Well, before we get on to the big performers, do we want to do like music or cinematography or ensemble or anything like that?
I did write down cinematography nominees because I always feel like I'm caught shorthanded with that. They seem to be pretty obvious ones. I have Nickel Boys, I have Brutalist, I have Challengers, which is actually really tremendous tennis match photography that culminates in a moment that just could never actually happen, that I find like incredible for the movie. But the thing where they're volleying back and forth, like a foot apart of each other, yes. I'm like, that is not possible. That doesn't happen. But it's fun.
They want to do it. They want to do it because they
make you fall for it. Yeah.
Dune Part 2. And then my one sop to the Oscars, Maria is not a good movie, but Maria's cinematography.
Ed Lachman, the king.
Incredible.
Yeah. I would put TV Glow in there, but I think that's an excellent 5, Joe.
I got Nickel Boys, Dune Part 2, Trapped, Brutalist, Janet Planet. But Trap, of course, is shot by the guy who shot Challengers in one of the most versatile, like DP performances of the year.
Incredible.
Do you guys have music picks? The Blankies cinematography picks were Nosferatu, very dark. Nickel Boys,
drop it down another F-stop.
Challengers and Dune Part 2, anamorphic.
No, Hundreds of Beavers. I put music because that's a movie that really has to be carried by its music. Can I say a thing that might turn you on to Hundreds of Beavers, David? It uses 8-bit video game language in a way I think is really smart.
Sounds cool. I'll see it.
It's like we are conditioned as a generation to understand things visually minus dialogue from video games in a way where that's a cleaner kind of jump to aid silent comedy.
You got any other score picks though?
Challengers score.
Challengers, Brutalist. I think Wild Brutalist. Robot's a really good score.
The Furiosa score is once again fantastic.
Yeah. I also I like the I Saw the TV Glow score a lot by Alex G.
I love that as well.
I like the Nosferatu score. Okay. I don't know.
This is a really, really bad year for original score or song at the movies, at the Oscars, but it could have been quite easily better if they just like Last Showgirl's not a movie that I liked, but I like that Miley song in it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a song on Wild Robot that they could have nominated, and it could have been like, an okay year for Best Original Song, and instead they opted for like a really bad year.
Yeah, they're starting to make the argument themselves for taking that category out behind.
And they had rehabbed it for a little while there. They had gotten it back to like sea level.
They'll never kill it because there'll always be a year where like Taylor Swift wins. They're like, we can't get rid of this, and then there's like 2 bad years again.
Last year, where they're like, we can have Billie Eilish and a whole big another Barbie number on top.
Can we
of that?
say it?
Okay.
Does it feel like Diane Warren might win this year?
That's crazy.
I feel like
it's going to really depend.
Amelia Paris, isn't it?
For which fucking song?
I don't fucking know. I don't remember the names of
all
those
the songs are bad, and 2 of them are nominated, and no one can tell the difference.
It does feel so. If you look at the FYC stuff that Amelia Paris has been sending out, El Mal, which is the Zoe Saldana number.
That's the number at the like fundraiser dinner?
Yes. Where she's in the red and she's doing
where she's like, fuck you. I mean, that song sucks. She just dances well.
She performs it very well, but that's the one they're going with.
I think that will win if a song wins.
And also feeling like watching this movie less than 24 hours ago, I was like, all these songs are 55 seconds long.
And they feel short,
and they don't linger,
which is part of it's like embarrassed at being a musical where it's like, don't worry, we'll get this over with quickly.
Yeah. I also threw down some needle drops. The tattoo needle drop in Honora is one of my favorite things that happened in the movie that used this year. Baby Girl also has several incredible needle drops.
I just think Diane Warren seems to be campaigning harder than usual this year and is campaigning with a very smart strategy of, come on, guys.
Enough.
Right. And it's sort of like...
But like, is her song this year remotely good? Isn't it for the Tyler Perry movie?
It's for the Tyler Perry movie. That's awful.
Yeah, it sounds fine. Whatever. Doesn't matter. There's no stronger nominee.
No, I understand.
Even if you like Amelia Perez.
I understand the argument.
Yeah.
But Joey sent me a link from like a clip from the 688, and it really, like, his movie's really... It's really
so
crazy.
Yeah, it's
because now he attracts this like top shelf talent, I guess, because he has a budget and he's like...
But it's also weird that it's like he used to make 3 movies a year.
Right. And they were made at the level, like the correct level. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like his style.
But now he makes like 1 movie every 3 years and it's worse.
They're bad because like he's trying to make an Oscar movie.
But also he's single-handedly, quote unquote, writing and directing every episode of television himself for like 20 series.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're so good.
I love his annual pile of scripts post.
I don't even know what that is, but I'll
every
check it
year
out.
he's like, here's everything I wrote this year, and it's a pile of like 40 different episodic scripts.
Right, like goes to the moon.
And then a bunch of guys in the comments are like, hey, thanks for not crediting me for hiring like scab writers and not letting them into the fucking union and not giving us credit.
How dare you? Should we do Best Actor or Best Actress? Tyler Perry's never done anything wrong, I'm sure.
Let's do Best Actor first.
Best Actor.
Best Actor first. So, Best Actor for 2024. Your winner last year, Griffin, in Actress was Laura Calamy in Full Time.
What a good pick.
Good movie. I picked Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Good
the
pick.
Oscars did too, I'm pretty sure. I won't check my notes. And you picked Margot in Barbie. Do you remember that?
I do. I was mad that she didn't get nominated. I thought Margot was great in Barbie.
She was not nominated.
You and Hillary were fighting that fight together.
Me and Hillary always, like arm in arm.
Yeah.
But this year, I can go first. I've been making Griffin go first.
Wow.
Poor Griffin. Justice Smith and I Saw the TV Glow. Josh Hartnett in Trap. Aaron Pierre in Rebel Ridge. Nicholas Hoult in Juror, number 2. And Sebastian Stan, A Different Man. Which rhymes when you think about it.
Yes, in fact, it does. My 3 are Mike.
3?
My 5.
Yeah, just do 3.
Add 2.
No, I'll do 5. Mike Feist in Challengers.
Wow.
Cillian Murphy in Small Things Like These. Josh O'Connor in Challengers.
Wow.
Justice Smith and I Saw the TV Glow. And Sebastian Stan in A Different Man.
Okay, I'm going to do this because you nominated Josh, right?
I nominated Josh Hartnett, yes.
And you nominated Josh O'Connor.
He's the best.
So then I'm going to drop Josh Hartnett because at least someone else called him out. My nominees are Josh O'Connor in Challengers, Glenn Powell in Hitman, Sebastian Stan in A Different Man.
What is this, a crush list?
Justice Smith and I Saw the TV Glow.
Cutie Brigade?
Wait till you get to my Best Actress picks.
Oh, boy.
Justice Smith and I Saw the TV Glow and Coleman Domingo and Sing Sing.
Coleman Domingo
well,
at very
good.
close 6th on mine.
Very good performers.
Yeah.
Because you guys didn't nominate Glenn, right?
I didn't. Although
I enjoyed.
So
that
I put him in there so someone called him out, and I didn't put him in the screenplay.
I love him in that movie.
That was my 6th pick for screenplay. I saw that movie at a WGA screening where I was in +1, where the Q&A afterwards was with screenwriter Glenn Powell, and it was moderated by our friend Esther Zuckerman. Glenn Powell walked out looking like $8 trillion.
He can do that.
I was like, the movies are alive and well.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to talk so fucking intelligently about story in a way that wasn't like save the cat bullshit, in a way that was like interesting and challenging, where I was like, oh, this was probably largely a Linklater script that
Right, where Powell's like
jumped onto and
hanging out.
And it made it so clear it was the other way around, where he was like, Rick, can you help me here? But
Linklater's getting baked.
Thing, and everything I like about that movie came from him on the screenplay level, which is why, of course, I'm nominating him in Best Actor. It's undeniable movie star performance.
Yes.
But also, at one point in this Q&A, he went to Esther. He reached out. I think he might have touched her hand and said, sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying? And Esther went, and look, Esther is a pro at this stuff.
Yes.
She is unflappable.
Yeah.
I watched her melt, and I walked out and I was like, buy all the stock you can. This guy is running. He's going to be the president of fucking Hollywood. I'm all in. Hitman is just a fucking show reel for him in so many ways, but God, is it compelling on that front.
Another movie that Netflix put on Netflix, and then a bunch of people watched it on streaming and were like, I don't get it. And I'm like, see it in a fucking theater then.
I saw it once in theaters, and it certainly plays like gangbusters.
Yeah, I saw it both times in theaters, but the first time was at TIFF, where no one knew it was going to happen.
Played like a rock
and
concert.
it really did. Like the scene, the iPhone notes scene really played like to screams and yells.
So wait,
great.
All three of us nominated Stan and Smith.
We love the guys.
Yes. And then you didn't nominate either of the Challengers boys.
No,
right?
but I like them both.
I've been a Justice Smith fan for like a long time ago. I always tell the story. He was in HBO used to do this series of little short documentaries on Young Arts, which does a mentorship thing where they put select 5 people.
Is he in it as
He's in 2 separate ones.
Wow.
He's in the one with Anna Devere Smith, where she has them interview each other, also play each other in the like Anna Devere Smith, one woman show style. He's incredible in that. He's also in the Alan Alda one. So I've like had my eye on him since he was just
this is his best performance.
He's so fucking good and versatile, and like just has to tackle so many different, really specific emotional states. And
it is like a performance that is painful to watch. And it is in a way where when it starts, I was like, is it just going to be hard to make it through this movie with this character? I also think he's so constrained and tight-knit, and is playing it sort of like so small and pulled back that you're like, is he doing something accurately that will actually be to the fault of the movie in like pulling back too much? And he just like makes it fucking work.
Well, he does the thing that the movie does really well, which is like through specificity, it gets at something that is universal.
Let's talk about Sebastian Stan. This fucking guy.
Fucking love that guy.
Talking about people.
Fucking love that guy.
Mayors of Hollywood, right?
Some people, Sebastian Stan, you guys may or may not know, plays Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier, in the Marvel films, right? Now, he's in The Martian, he's in Ricky and the Flash, he's in I, Tonya. He's in movies where people have said to me, like, well, I liked him in that one. And I've always kind of been like, not me. Boink.
Yeah.
Has been my thing. Never disliked him, but was just sort of like, he was really pop.
Bonk.
Yes.
Like, and then there's other stuff I'm looking at here, like he's in Destroyer, the Karen Kusama movie. I saw that movie.
Yeah.
I did not remember he's in it.
Oh, he's good in that.
Yeah. I believe you now.
I am one of those people who you've been bonking away for years and
Bonk.
years. Yeah, totally.
The USA original series Political Animals, co-starring Griffin.
The NBC, I know you were in that one, but the
Kings?
NBC series Kings.
2
separate shows where he plays the gay scions of political dynasties.
Yes.
Kings was one of those, right? Kings was a show where everyone seemed high on goofballs, and you were kind of like, I can't believe this exists. And then it got canceled, and you were like, of course it did.
Of course it did. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
This guy's been around for like 20 years.
Right, because he was in Gossip Girl.
He was in Gossip
way back
Girl.
when.
Yep.
Right.
And Black Swan, he of course originally tested for Captain America and was one of the finalists, and then they found out he was not USA born.
Right. He's Romanian.
And so they were like, we'll give you Bucky as a consolation prize, right? My big takeaway from this year, besides just him like totally coming into his own, proving himself, 2 movies that clearly got financed like on him, right? Like off his attachment.
You can get a little budget because you have Sebastian Stan.
Totally.
Like those are not big budget movies.
Now I'm suddenly like all in on him as a guy. Anything he wants to attach himself to, I think is interesting. These are both like
here comes
bizarre
Thunderbolts, baby.
challenging movies. Well, look, honestly, like I'm like not immediately excited, but I'm like, if he's in it, I'm suddenly more.
I have heard from, and I don't even know if this is from reputable or whatever, but like I have heard that it's like the best of this next crop, which is like, you know.
That sounds incredible. So it's a 3 out of 10?
It's such faint praise. But like.
I laser targeted David with that one.
Jesus Christ. Have you seen, you still have not done a 4DX?
I have bought tickets to enter the Brave New World this Saturday.
His scene in that film is...
he's in it?
He shows up for one scene.
Okay.
And as people have pointed out online, but it's still insane, Bucky is apparently running for Congress. Bucky, who I believe canonically assassinated JFK, is running for Congress.
Also, like, assassinated T'Challa's dad, right? He assassinated
Howard Stark. Like, it's like you couldn't be a famous dad in these movies without Bucky blowing your damn skull open.
Here's what I want to say about Stan.
And he's like, I want to represent the good people of Michigan or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Here's what I want to say about Stan. He is.
His one scene in Brave New World, you're like, God damn, like, this is more interesting than anything else I'm watching.
He's just figured it out. Yeah, I think he's figured out himself as a performer. He's figured out the kind of material he can get excited about. He brilliantly fucking navigated this award season.
Yes.
Where it felt like he was going to get double snubbed. He did some of the savviest campaigning.
He fucking gave his deserved Golden Globe speech for A Different Man as if he'd won for The Apprentice.
Right.
Knowing, I think that like, well, that's my Oscar play, so I really should shout it out too, right? You know?
But my big line on him is he's arguably number 16 on the list of Marvel actors relative to the juice they carry, right? Like he's like the 16th most important Marvel character at best.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, certainly not top 10. Yeah.
If everyone fucking above him was using their juice the way he is right now, we'd live in a much better fucking era for movies.
He's good in those Marvel movies.
Sure,
he's pretty good in them.
But I'm also like, Chris Evans, not to constantly bag on him. He's finally this year like doing the fucking Coen Trisha Cook movie and the Celine Song movie.
Celine Song movie, right?
And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Can all you guys fucking do this, please? Also, Sebastian Stan revealing that he's been attached this whole fucking time to the Elaine May Dakota Johnson movie that can't get insurance.
The Elaine May can't get insurance just because Elaine May is 4,000 years old and is never seen in public. It's weird.
I hear she mostly eats powder.
Wait, can I?
I'm not joking. I've heard that. That she eats bags full of powder and is like, I'm going to live forever.
Powder?
It's funny. It's a good bit. Guess what color the powder is?
I don't know.
Not normal ones. That's what I heard.
This ain't your normal colored powders. Sebastian Stan very good in A Different Man. Yeah, Hartnett's my winner.
Hartnett's very good. Hartnett was on the long list. I want to sort of make my justification for challengers.
No, I don't think any justification is required. They're obviously the leads.
They're obviously
the
leads.
Them.
I also, though, like Josh O'Connor fucking rules in that movie.
This guy's on fire. So I don't watch The Crown.
No, I didn't. I stopped watching The Crown before he showed up.
He's fine in The Crown. He's good.
La Chimera is embarrassingly one of my biggest blind spots.
Oh, he's so good in that.
I feel like there was one other thing he was in that I didn't see. So I've just seen still pictures of this guy, and everyone telling me he's like a heartthrob, and that he's got.
That's interesting. You're going in like really
I was like,
dry
this guy looks
on him.
goofy as hell. How am I going to?
You know who goes in really dry is Josh O'Connor in God's Own Country.
That is true.
Right, that's the other one I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
So like, I was just like, I don't know if I'm buying this Josh O'Connor thing. He walks in 2 seconds. I'm like, this guy's a fucking movie star. This guy rules.
This is Challengers is a movie that gets...
Emma. Did you ever see Emma?
No.
Oh yeah,
I've missed like all of his shit.
He and Callum Turner are both in Emma, and for most of that movie, I kept being like, "Which one is this guy again?" Which is no slight against either one of them because I actually think they're both really good in that. Challengers is a movie that gets types of tennis players, and I think they get the tennis dirtbag and the tennis sort of professional really well. I think Feist has been undervalued in this movie because everybody's like, Patrick Zweig fucks. Like,
his job is to be the unshowy one. His job is to be a little boring.
Fucking good at that. And
it's kind of yeoman's work.
And I'm kind of also the person who's like, justice for Art Donaldson because he put in the work and he's the best tennis player in the world.
Okay.
And like, he won all those Grand Slams and he deserves it. So No, I love him. And I've loved him in West Side Story. I loved him on stage in Evan Hansen. He plays a great little journalist boy in Bikeriders.
Yeah.
I'm all in on Feist.
He's got a good stash. Yeah. Did you run through all your nominees?
Cillian Murphy, Small Things Like These, which
haven't seen.
I was going to say, I'm sort of carrying the banner alone, but like that is one of those movies where I watched it and I'm like, this dude just won an Oscar, and I just now saw his best performance the year after. No slight at all against his Oppenheimer performance, but he's in a very different type of movie. Very like this is about he's lives next door to one of the Magdalene laundries and sort of takes in this girl who runs away, and he has to make this moral decision of like, am I going to allow this thing to go on by just sort of looking the other way, or am I going to like, you know,
that's what it's about.
Stuff
good.
Yeah, and Emily Watson plays like the terrifying nun who runs the.
Doesn't sound like something she could pull off.
You're currently doing a better job advertising this movie than anyone involved.
I'm saying,
you're making both of us get activated.
Yeah, like check this movie out. It's rad, and he's awesome in it. So
it was a Lionsgate film. I'm sorry, Bleecker Street. I didn't mean to sully you there. Just kind of felt like a Bleecker Street.
Yeah,
it's got huge Bleecker Street. BSE.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Okay, so you finished your 5, David.
I just want to, I mean, Aaron Pierre started making stuff in Rebel Ridge. Nicholas Hoult had an amazing year, but I do think, like, I'm always really great Clint performances, given how, like, as you said, with Zoe Deutsch, like, how little they're probably being told
cared
to
for.
do.
Yeah.
Like, we agree on Hoult being amazing in that movie, right?
Yeah, I also think, look, I think that is his first successful leading man performance. I think there has always been a divide between when the thing is put on his shoulders and he's sort of being positioned as like conventional matinee idol. I think he tends to go a little blank, and he's always good playing Weasel.
What are you thinking of in that though?
Jack because like Giant Slayer, I don't find him very compelling in the X-Men movies.
Yeah, no, I feel,
I like him in Warm Bodies,
Renfield.
Which is. Yeah, that's
I would
closer.
not see Renfield.
I'm like, Renfield and Warm Bodies are getting closer to how to make him work as a leading man, which is like he needs to be a likable weasel. But he's best as weasels and cucks. That is what he is great at.
Sorry, Nick, it's true.
This year was like king cuck shit for him, getting cucked by the law, getting cucked by Nosferatu, and getting, of course, cucked by his cat Garfield, lest we forget that Nicholas Hoult is the voice of John Arbuckle. The weirdest shit.
Wait, when you say cucked by the law, do you mean in juror number 2 by the legal system, or do you mean by Jude Law in The Order?
That as well.
Good in The Order.
Great call. Yeah, here's my impression of Nicholas Hoult in the Garfield movie. Garfield, what are you doing?
Sounds good.
Why is Nicholas Hoult John
Because
Arbuckle?
Illumination is addicted to casting British people as like American icons for some reason.
It's so fucking bizarre.
Who else do you want to shout out, Griffy Poo?
I feel like you guys covered all my nominees. My winner is Coleman Domingo. I caught up with Sing Sing very late. It was another movie that I was sort of cynically like, yeah, I'm sure it's good. And then I saw it, and it is just like it's avoids
the best version of that kind of a movie.
It avoids all cliches. It is just like elegantly, intelligently made and told. And in a way, I was like, I love Coleman Domingo. He's a guy that I've like long been like, is this guy quietly the best actor alive?
I'm glad he got this nomination after getting the nomination he got last year for Rustin.
This is the deserving one.
I couldn't feel good about that one purely.
I feel the same way.
And I feel great about this
I feel great about him being a 2-time nominee
100%.
and being like he's in the firmament. It's not a fluke.
Absolutely.
But I also think this is like a deceptively difficult role to be the one actor mostly working against these real guys playing themselves, and to like not stand out in either direction.
His character stands out, but in a way that I think benefits the movie, where he's really elegant. This guy, like you see where he frays at the edges as the movie goes along, but he's a really elegant kind of character, calling him beloved. Like he's very into the process.
Smartly, he is quietly kind of this elitist who's like, I'm not like these other guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he is propping himself up in his own mind as part of the program. I don't belong here. I'm not like them. Look at my empathy and connecting to them. But he thinks he's more like the Paul Raci character, who is also incredibly good in this. And then, yes, to watch his like unwinding in the final 30 minutes of the movie. No spoilers, and it goes through multiple arcs. But like this guy finally gets pushed to a breaking point and emotionally kind of like unravels, and he's just phenomenal. He's one of my favorite actors, and I think this is the best work I've ever seen him do.
Yeah, very good actor.
There's a moment I almost just spoiled that I just was devastated by his silent reaction shot to. It is in his parole meeting. I think you guys can probably guess which line I'm talking about. And they ask him a question, and his face in response to it, I literally gasped. He's incredible. David, your winner?
Josh Hartnett, baby.
Josh Hartnett.
High Wire Axe. Oh, I love him so much in that movie. Yeah,
I do want to shout out. Nobody mentioned him.
You said your winner was.
Oh, my winner is Justice Smith.
That's another great performance.
I love.
We're spreading the wealth. We're doing good work here today.
I almost nominated Magaro for September 5 because I really, I'm just a Magaro fan.
Still haven't seen it. I saw someone on the Reddit say recently that they genuinely thought it was me until the end credits.
Or like September 6 out of 10.
You know, that's
David over the shoulder from behind shattered the backboard.
I just thought that movie was okay.
And then, have either of you seen Woman of the Hour, the Anna Kendrick?
I have
movie?
not. Was busy that day.
I was busy that day and the subsequent 14
sorry
months.
to be rude.
I understand the reticence to it. It's so much better than you think it's going to be. And the guy who plays the killer in that movie, Daniel Zavato, is terrifying. He's like giving like D'Onofrio.
I'm very pro Zavato.
Yeah.
He was in the rowboat with me in the killer original horror film Beneath. We were fighting that killer puppet fish
But he's also in Station 11. He's the he's the kid who grows up to be the cult leader in Station 11.
Yeah, never watching Station 11.
He's really good. Apparently, he's an excellent actor.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Let's see what else he's doing.
He's in It Follows.
He's in Lady Bird, apparently.
The chiller original film.
Oh yeah, he's the guy he's Jonah Ruiz. He's the band that
Beneath.
I think he's kind of the off lead in the Pope's Exorcist. Anyway, which I saw.
He breaks an oar in half and tries to stab the fish
watch
with it.
Woman of the Hour if you haven't. I'm going to convince these guys. We'll figure it out.
Sassy little nobody.
Sassy little nobody.
Is that what it's, yeah, okay.
Back to the Blankies after these messages. We're back, baby. It's the Blankies. Best Actress.
Best Actress. My Best Actor winner last year was Jason Schwartzman in Asteroid City.
Wow,
City.
Jesus.
Shot by
Freud.
Dick Poop, I guess. R.I.P.
We can still make that joke, though, right?
R.I.P. More like C-R-A-P. I'm sorry. Come on.
Schwartzman had another great year. Between the Temples, great.
Schwartzman.
I really enjoyed his crazy work in Queer.
I'm gonna put a pin in that because I have a bespoke notice for him. Yeah.
What was another? I feel like he had another thing this year that
well, Megalopolis. He
hey man, he was there.
He was there
along with everyone else.
He did the pre-recorded audio
He did the little
that
question.
someone stands up to do.
Yep. My nominees for Best Actress.
Oh, can I just call it two Best Actor also rans very quickly? Ethan Harici and Nickel Boys.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are both amazing.
And it's, a little tough because by the nature of the performance, he's not on screen that much, which is maybe the only reason I cut him. But I think he is so fucking impactful, especially when we wait so long to see his face. And the moments he has to like sell you on the idea of the ripple effects of this guy's presence over decades, not to spoil anything in the film, kind of knocked me away. Isaac Yang and Dee Dee, a movie I liked quite a bit. And I was like, oh, this is like got a teenager and gave him a natural, awkward performance. And then I dug in. This guy's a fucking chameleon. I keep forgetting this is the same kid, but he's good in everything. He's in Walt Becker's Clifford the Big Red Dog. He is in Good Boys, where he plays the cool kid.
Yes.
Jacob Tremblay's Good Boys.
Yeah,
correct. He was the best voice in Raya and the Last Dragon. He's just like a really, really good at young actor who I'm very excited by every time he shows up.
Apparently he was in the Santa Clauses.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Wouldn't know.
No, my nominees for Best Actress. Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths. Mikey Madison for Honora. Julianne Nicholson for Janet Planet. Ilinka Manolake, I have no idea if I pronounced her name right, for Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World. And I got to give it to her. Naomi Scott for Smile 2.
Oh my God, I almost did Naomi Scott.
Wonderful
That's
performance.
a great nomination.
Haven't seen it.
Wonderful performance. She will never be
Smile
speechless
2 is
or
such-
awardsless.
Is such a jump up from Smile. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a jump up from like a 2.5 to a 3, but I thought she was really good.
No,
I could not believe how good she was.
There are sequences in that movie
There's some
that
fun
are
sequences.
like, there's some real good fucking sequences.
There's a lot, though, of where she thinks she's like, why are you smiling at me weird? And then everyone's like, what are you talking about? And then they do that 18 more times. And yet every time she had me on the hook.
One of my main complaints about the first Smile was that there wasn't enough smiling. Like there weren't enough moments of like
This helps the smile factor.
Like there's a
Some good
lot of
smiling.
fucking smiles.
Smile
too.
That's pretty good style.
Yeah.
Best actress, Joe.
All right. I have Marianne Jean-Baptiste in Hard Truths. I have Demi Moore in The Substance. I have Hunter Schafer in Cuckoo. I have June Squibb in Thelma. And I have Fernanda Torres in I'm Still Here.
I'm still here. And Little Loopy.
I will admit that like Cuckoo just missed me entirely.
I did not care for
I
Cuckoo.
just like did not get it. I like Hunter Schafer a lot.
I think Hunter Schafer, I like Hunter Schafer better than I like the movie, but I like the movie pretty well.
I liked Hunter Schafer in that movie. I also thought the movie looked good. I just thought it was stupid.
Yeah,
It is
I hate to say this.
No, it is. Again, though, a movie with like 2 or 3 really, really rad sequences, one of which is unfortunately given away in the trailer. But I think just like she does not only the final girl thing, but also has like really amazing sister energy.
Can I give out an award on behalf of Ben, or maybe it's in tribute to Ben?
I'm sure Ben will have his own awards.
Can I give Dan Stevens the DAF performance, the DFA award, the Dang-Ass Freak Award for performances most like directly targeting Ben Hosley's
Dan Stevens is a German, fully German, like, whatever the fuck he is in Cuckoo.
This is a
hotelier.
This is collected award
and
for
then also
2024.
as like a Godzilla dentist.
A monster
in
dentist.
Godzilla X Kong.
And then an Abigail, a sleaze bag.
And like, hey, I'm from the Bronx.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you? I got sunglasses on inside.
Dan Stevens and Melissa Barrera carry that movie on their shoulders. That is not a movie I liked, but
I also think Catherine Newton, I think, is really good. I think everyone's good in it.
Yeah, everyone's good.
I just am frustrated by that movie. Ben, am I correct in thinking you saw 0 of those 3 movies?
Correct.
Those are 3 performances of Dan Stevens yelling and waving his arms and going, Ben, pay attention.
All right.
I'm your favorite actor.
Well, you know what? He's on my radar, so I'll have to check out his work.
All 3 of those movies don't work for me, but what he's doing in them, you'd be into.
It's just like, if you saw that guy in Downton Abbey, 15 years ago, going like, oh, well, I sure hope that I get to be part of Downton Abbey. And I was like, yeah, this guy plays like a Bronx cop who fights Dracula's daughter.
This is why
the same year that he pulls Kong's tooth.
Yeah.
And
this is
also
why The Guest was a very important and impactful movie. Because
that movie is,
set the template.
And I will say this with respect, pornography. Yeah.
My Best Actress nominees.
Yes.
And I'm wiping my glasses here because for this lineup, I could mistake it for Tuesday night at the Olive Garden.
Oh.
If you catch my drift.
Pasta dinners galore.
Best Actress. Zendaya in Challengers. Saoirse Ronan in The Outrun. Daisy Ridley in Sometimes I Think About Dying. I'm front-loading the 3 pasta dinners. But here are 2 more pasta dinners coming. June Squibb in Thelma. Marianne Jean-Baptiste in Hard Truths. My winner is Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
We're unified in that. That felt like a mortal lock for all 3 of us.
Yeah.
That's the performance of the year.
It is. Yes.
The most egregious snub.
It was a performance that was so much the best performance of the year that it almost got nominated in a way that, like, well, of course nobody's going to nominate. Like, she's pushing you away so hard.
It's flooring.
And it's like, of course, people are voting for awards aren't going to do this, but like they almost did. It came pretty close. I feel like, yeah.
Yes, and with that thing getting like a very limited, very late release from a smaller distributor, it was fighting a lot of uphill battles. And I thought the work was so undeniable that it was going to punch through. But yeah, it's incredible shit.
It is. It's the most incredible screen performance of the year. I'm realizing I probably should have nominated Zendaya, but I gotta give it to Naomi Scott.
I put her in there.
Yeah.
No, I saw that.
The TV Glow.
I saw that.
I'm sorry. Your actor winner, by the way, was Cillian Murphy, and yours was Koji Yakusho. Yakusho for Perfect Days.
Who is yours?
Yeah.
Jason Schwartzman, baby.
Oh, right. Yeah. It is, it did not get a very wide release. I feel like a lot of people didn't get the opportunity to see it with a crowd. It was kind of fascinating to watch how much of that movie successfully plays as a comedy, where you like watch it and you're like, where is this going? At first, you're like, am I really going to spend the whole movie with this woman acting like this the whole time? Isn't this going to get exhausting?
The biggest out loud laugh reaction I heard in a movie this year was the "What's a baby need pockets for?"
The middle chunk of that movie, it's like everything she's saying is like fucking Bernie Mac Def Jam, like just like 3-point shots, right? And then it makes it all the more astonishing when the bottom can totally fall out in the last act and like really make you kind of like interrogate this person, how she ended up like this. And I think it's really smart about like the answers it provides and the clues it gives and the things it leaves unexplained. And yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the way that, way Lee works, the creative process of
exactly.
his, the actors are have big stakes in the story being told.
But it's a performance that shouldn't work.
Sure.
You're like, it should be repetitive. Yes. It should be alienating.
It is kind of crazy that you're right. Like, you're never like, I fucking get it.
I get it.
She's mentally ill and really, really and difficult really to be around.
Yeah.
It is a performance that should make the audience act the way David acts when episodes have hit 3 hours, where he's yelling like, basta, enough.
Basta.
Yeah. David just checked the clock.
Mikey, I love to check the clock.
We're doing good on
that. I gave Mikey the nod. Obviously, she's the breakout star of the year, and she's got Oscar noms, and she won a BAFTA.
She was on my short list. Yeah.
It's funny that that's the one the BAFTAs were like, oh, we don't care for Nora much, except for you, Mikey.
You were making a prediction right before air. Do you want to say it here, or do you want to save it for
about
another
Nora
episode? Yeah.
No, I'll make it here. My thing. Well, this award season has been so goofy,
so insane.
And so with the obviously bottom falling out of Amelia Perez.
Unsurprisingly goofy, given that there never was the movie.
Correct.
Right? Like, so it is a movie where the buzz just ping pongs.
Can I say one thing about the Amelia Perez bottoming out?
Yeah.
This same kind of thing.
Do you think it has to do with those tweets that lady sent?
Not as extreme, but this is the exact same point that Green Book was at in the arc before it then won Best Picture.
But nothing like that happened
Nick
to Green Book.
Vallelonga had the fucking tweet where he said, I saw Muslims cheering on
I'm aware.
That
was one tweet.
I agree.
Yeah.
I said not the same scale.
Gascon was posted. It was one of those things where like, is there something she didn't post about? No, everything.
I said not the same scale, but I went back and read some of the articles post the Vallelonga tweet and people being like, I guess that's it. Green Book's done.
Well, no.
And people forget that also Mahershala Ali, who later went on to win Best Supporting Actor, at one point issued a press release basically apologizing for being in the movie.
Zoe Saldana didn't do that, but she also has been like very skillful about like distancing herself. Here's the thing about Green Book.
Amelia Perez
does not
Green Book times 10.
There was also a weirdly like 2024 election-esque like thing with Green Book where people were like, I'm going to silently push back against people
I enjoyed
being
it. Stop telling me I can't enjoy that.
That's exactly, and I don't think you're getting that with Amelia.
Amelia Perez has always had a more polarized like fan base or whatever. Like there's some people who just love it.
I just refuse to believe it's 100% dead.
Oh, I think it's dead.
It's
for
the way
Best
you feel
Picture.
About John Wick. Where you're like, they're going to bring him back to life.
I need to see that body cut into pieces and spread around the earth before I'm like, he's dead. They had him, sit on some stairs? I'm like, he's alive. I don't care.
Fade to white.
Yeah, exactly.
But so the state of the race currently is Honora wins PGA and DGA, and everybody's like, done.
And the Critics' Choice.
And the Critics' Choice. Well, nothing can be more important than the Critics'
But
Choice.
It was somewhat surprising because it was similarly kind of like, it didn't win anything else.
It only won Best Picture.
Right. Kyle Buchanan tweeted, or whatever, Blue skied. Is Honora ever going to win anything at one of these televised awards? Minutes before it won Best Picture. And I literally like, Kyle, you turned around this entire Oscar season.
Felt done in every category. It was weird.
And I went on Katie's podcast and was like, it's too good a movie to win Best Picture. It's just not going to happen.
And it peaked too early. And it got
exactly. It was kind of the first one. Right. And so that hurt it.
It's like weird that it's winning 0 precursors and then suddenly it starts winning everything.
And it's only got a handful of nominations. So my thing that I want to get on.
But it got more than I thought it might. Like, it got that Borisov.
It did get that Borisov.
Say your thing on Mike, because then I'm going to put out the counter, and I think this is an interesting thing to pin at this moment in time.
I'm saying there is a non-zero chance, and like I'm putting it out there that I think it is possible that Honora does a Grand Hotel of winning Best Picture and nothing else.
I last night was like, that idea hit me. And I was like, I could see that happening.
I could see Corbet getting director. I could see Demi getting actress. I could see anything else getting editing. I think editing is totally up for grabs.
Yeah, and I could see Real Pain getting screenplay.
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
Well, Real Pain got the BAFTA for
Yes.
screenplay.
Yeah,
So,
but I think it'll
I'm not
end
saying
up
it's
with
the most
3
likely
wins.
scenario, but I think it is.
No, it could happen.
It's
I mean,
out
it'd be
there.
What's
weird.
interesting is Fantasy on a recent Big Picture called out that Sean Baker stands to be the single person to win the most Oscars in one night for one movie.
Sure, right. He
If
could
he
win
wins
for
picture, director,
Screenplay editing.
screenplay, and
Right,
editing.
Yeah.
Yes, Cuarón had this chance. It's happened like a couple times. It's when you edit your own movie. Cameron won 3 Oscars for Titanic. He didn't win screenplay, obviously.
Right. And like the only sort of asterisk, Disney won 4 in one night for
doesn't
different
fucking
films.
count. He doesn't
Doesn't
Yeah.
count.
Yeah.
And Bong, there's the international award that doesn't technically go to the
to him.
director.
Correct.
But he accepted 4 times on
Right.
stage,
Right.
right? I could see Baker winning all 4, and I could see Honora only winning Best Picture, and I could see it
Equally
weirdly
likely.
winning 0.
Equally likely. Yeah.
Right. It's like it feels so random. Right now, I'm betting on some flip of Honora and Brutalist for picture and director.
Mhm.
But
I
it
would
does
too.
feel like it could go any of those ways.
Speaking of the
Weird
Oscars,
year.
I have current Best Actress frontrunner Demi Moore in The Substance.
That's your winner?
I don't know how either one of you guys feel about The Substance. Am I like on
I
treacherous
love
ground
The
here?
Substance. No, I love The Substance.
Thought it was
Here's the
okay.
thing. I'm like, that's a movie I would have nominated in like 6 categories. And then when the Oscars went
It
for it so
became an
hard.
you're like, they don't
Oscar
need my help.
favorite.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
It didn't make me like,
Yeah.
well, it's obvious now. But I was just
Sure.
like, cool, I can open up space for something else.
Yeah.
I no, that movie totally works for me. And
I think she's very good, and I know you love Demi.
I do love Demi. I've been doing this little side podcast on Demi. The funny thing about it is I'm not doing this podcast because she's like my favorite actress. She's just so 90s coded that like,
It's
and
a
that's a
great
period of
snapshot
filmmaking
actor,
that I love thinking
prism.
about and talking about.
I just remembered I want to do a song parody of Just Dance for Substance.
It's going to be okay, Griffin. It's going to be okay.
Put that green goo into your spine. Substance.
Oh, you're doing Bowie and I was doing Gaga. Sorry.
Oh, sure. You can do either one. Yeah.
But I think she's really fantastic in that movie. I love that she's getting an awards narrative when she never, even when she was at the height of her popularity, was never an awards actress.
Yeah, I also think like all of the kind of like, I say this lovingly, but the like Mad TV aspects of the performance, I'm just like, I never knew she had this in her. I never knew she could do like Grand Guignol. She gets to play so many different phases of the character. And then on the opposite end of that, just like her standing in the mirror wiping the makeup away is probably why she's going to win the Oscar.
Yes.
It is so sticky and it is just an actor tapping into a moment that feels so poignant and resonant and is done wordlessly that there's just such range in that performance from an actor who I've always kind of liked, but I've never seen her do either of those extremes before.
I agree. I'm going to reach across our divide and say thank you for doing Thelma. Well, thank you for doing June Squibb and Thelma.
Hey, I mean, she fucking rolls in that movie, and that movie is charming.
It's so charming.
It's so charming.
It's the most charming movie.
It's incredibly charming.
Came very close to putting Fred Heshinger on my supporting actor
Is
ballot because I
incredibly
do love him in that movie.
Heckinger.
Is it Heckinger?
It is.
All right.
And Roundtree also R.I.P.
Great perforance.
Oh,
great
Roundtree's so good in that movie. Oh my God.
Yes.
Parker Posey's really funny in that movie.
Yes.
Yep.
There was, I'm going to say this. There's maybe half a second, and it got foiled by scheduling where I was going to play Malcolm McDowell's grandson in that movie.
Really?
And I was just like, I just kind of can't make it work. It was like right around the same time I did the movie Turn Me On, now available on PVOD, directed by Michael Taberski. That's the only reason I wasn't in Thelma, basically.
A much bigger role is Turn Me On.
But when I saw the movie, my biggest regret was fuck. That was my one opportunity to get punched in the face by Richard Roundtree.
Oh my God.
R.I.P.
Unless you build
Dine
a time
out on that
machine.
forever.
Unless I build a time machine.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't get
the set of Shaft in Africa or something.
Yeah, I'd be really good on that set. You know what that movie needed? More white guys in position of power.
Griffin Newman.
Didn't like John Garriman direct that?
I don't remember.
I
We
think
talked
it's
about
directed by a white British man, whatever.
it. The Blankies picks for lead performance. I'll go from 10 to 1. Coleman Domingo, Ralph Fiennes, Conclave, Marianne Jean-Baptiste, Joshie Hartnett, Zendaya Challengers, Justice Smith.
People forget that her last name is Challengers. Go on.
Right. Sebastian Stan, Adrian Brody, and the Brutalist. A performance I really like.
Yeah, he's great in that movie.
Yeah, it's undeniable.
I think none of us actually mentioned him.
No.
Demi Moore in The Substance. Mikey Madison and Honora is the winner. She's great.
The Blankies love an ingenue.
Do the Oscars, maybe she'll win.
Yeah. Well, except this year they didn't love Ingenue Ellis Taylor.
Which honestly, they fucking fucked up.
They fucking fucked up.
Now, before we get to picture director,
some bespokes.
What are some other things we want to shout out?
Well, you called out right before we started recording.
I put you in a panic.
Hard to pin down on putters and murmurs. And I
have one.
I have one too. I looked at the list while we were recording and I was like, wait a second. Why didn't this jump out to me immediately?
What's yours?
Hiding in plain sight. Timothy Chalamet as Robert Zimmerman in A Complete Unknown. If fucking Bob Dylan himself is not the king of puttering and murmuring,
I mean,
and if Chalamet did not invoke it, well, then what are we even doing here?
Hey, Woody.
I was very proud of
Woody.
Timothy's work.
I'd like to be a Buzz Lightyear to your Woody.
Says that in the movie.
Who's your putter and murmur winner?
Bill Camp in Drive Away Dolls.
No, I think I've given Camp a P&M before.
Of course. The man is practically guaranteed a nom every year.
Yeah.
But he is so, I mean, for one, Bill Camp not getting famous earlier, he deprived us of him being in a lot of Coen Brothers movies. Like he would have been really good in pretty much any Coen Brothers movie that ever existed.
I made this point on Vulture Slack yesterday. In fact, like literally yesterday. You know, nominative determinism, the thing that like your name determines your personality. Sure. He's the opposite of that.
He's the least campy.
He's the least campy person in movies.
That's a great take.
Oh, just to he plays Curly, the owner of the Drive Away. Have you guys seen Drive Away Dolls?
I did. I did not really care for Drive Away Dolls, but Bill Camp is great.
But I both stan Drive Away Dolls and love his two scenes. One where he's with the girls, and then after he says, "Won't somebody save Curly?" is his line.
Incredible.
Delivery.
Coleman's also great in that.
He is very funny.
I considered both of the female leads in that movie.
I really love Geraldine.
I love Geraldine Viswanathan.
Margot Qualley is dropping jars of mustard.
Qualley's a lot.
He gets big swings, but it works.
Qualley's a lot.
It works.
She's got a cricket bat. Yeah, that's the kind of swing she's taken. She's got
like a kid's plastic hollow, like big slugger bat. Yeah,
she's having fun.
She is.
Who else though? Putters and murmurs, or puttersers and murmursers.
I have, as I tend to do, sort of a lead up. I think you could plausibly say that Monstro Elisa Sue in the
is
Substance,
a putter and murmur.
She's.
Is that not more of a sputters and bleeders?
Sputters and bleeders. She becomes sputters and bleeders. 100%. I also thought you could do a thing where you combine Sebastian Stan in the first act of A Different Man and Justice Smith in the last act of I Saw the TV Glow.
Yeah.
Into a little combined putters and murmurs.
Sure. None of these are your winner. This is all.
No, this is all.
Yeah.
Leo Harvey Eldridge as Liam Gallagher in Better Man. Slurs and sneers.
Here's the Better Man. Watching that movie as someone who is not deeply entrenched in British pop, that's like the most shocking twist I've ever seen.
No, that was news to me. I knew that they hated each other, but I didn't know that it was like over the.
I think Better Man works better if you don't know any of it.
Kind of.
I'm pro Robbie in that fight.
Isabella Rossellini in Conclave, copies and curtsies.
What a great curtsy she does.
Look, I was like, she's almost a putters and murmurs.
There's something there.
Yes, because she takes a long time to speak up.
June Squibb and Richard Roundtree in Thelma, Snazzies and Jazzies. They're on their little jazzies.
Mm-hmm.
I had Todd Phillips in Joker Folly Ado just puttering his way through that movie, making
I think he murmured most of his directions.
Just absolutely just zero effort. My pick is Dave Bautista in The Last Showgirl.
And when he putters and murmurs, it's good. Blade Runner 2049?
Yes.
Good.
I have not seen it yet. I will watch it before. SAG voting this weekend, because of course it's been nominated for two awards. SAGs. That is the one reason I'm looking forward to watching
He's the best part of
Not to be rude.
Yeah.
And I'm all here for the Pam revival campaign. Yeah. Very excited for her being a naked gun. But Batista in a drama, I'd love to see it.
There's an obvious winner, but it's in a film I guess neither of you saw, because I think a lot of people did not see it. Anthony Hopkins in One Life.
One Life's a good movie.
The James Hawes true story movie. It is a good movie. It's a great example of that kind of movie.
You are correct that we didn't see it.
Right. This is a movie about.
Oh, you did see it.
Joe saw it. I liked it. This is a movie about like a real guy who did a thing. You know, that's interesting to think about and important to honor. But also, the first 20 minutes of that movie is Hopkins going, Where did I put that mail?
Yeah. No, it's true.
When are we going to flashback to the young guy who plays me?
Your letterbox log of this movie really stuck out to me. If you can pull
very much the classic original Griffy Nooms definition of putters and murmurs.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's actually
Ian McKellen
straight down the line.
Holmes.
Right.
Mr. Holmes.
Yeah.
My letterbox was sorry, but if you have Anthony Hopkins in a slow-moving English drama that builds to a quiet but devastating emotional climax, I'm gonna like it.
It's exactly right. You're exactly right, David.
Yeah, that is sort of the Samuel L. Jackson in The Piano Lesson is a putters and murmurs.
It's the other thing I need to watch before SAG voting.
And
I liked that movie.
I did too. I liked it better on Broadway.
Talk about a movie that just evaporated in the race.
If you're Netflix,
it's fucking Netflix.
I know. Really get lost.
Netflix.
I know.
But he is kind of right. He's playing. I think a lot of people are surprised by that performance, assuming, Samuel Jackson in August Wilson, is he going to have tons of crazy loud monologues?
He was nominated for a Tony also because he's good.
Yeah.
He might have. I don't think he won the Tony, but he was definitely nominated for the Tony.
But he's really good. But other bespoke awards.
Okay, here's some other bespokes.
Okay.
Best Godzilla.
Okay.
Of 2024, I'm giving to Bisexual Lighting Ozempic Godzilla and Godzilla X Kong.
I'm going to give it to Marianne Jean-Baptiste and Hard Truths.
Biggest mistake of last year's awards, I'm going to give to forgetting to do the Best Godzilla category in the year that Godzilla -1 came out. Biggest mistake of this year's awards, I'm going to give to making the Bisexual Lighting Ozempic Godzilla and Godzilla versus Kong joke. It's just kind of an easy joke. It's sort of dumb. Easy. Have you guys seen that movie?
Best Power Glove.
I haven't. No, I think I maybe saw the end of it on TV.
Godzilla gets all pink and blue and skinny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, my Sergeant Shroom Award, named after Vin Diesel's performance in Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. It is performance that I most wanted to give a nomination to, and I can't quite sell it. Now, usually it's more of a there's just nothing there. Sight unseen, I wanted to believe in it. This is someone where I'm the performance is really good. If I'd put it in and not included Adrian Brody, who I'm already snubbing from my 5, people would have asked for my head on a pike. Given to Michael Keaton and Goodrich.
But a good performance.
This is the thing. It's genuinely a good performance. Me putting it in the 5 would have been overselling it a little bit. Best airplane movie, as in movie to watch on an airplane. Giving that to Goodrich. Goodrich, 2 wins 1 year.
Wow.
Not bad.
I got to see that movie.
Best performance by Megalon in a supporting role. I'm giving it to Megalopolis.
There's nobody in Transformers 1 called Megalon.
It's funny that Megalon is just kind of a thing in that movie.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's how they make buildings and stuff.
That's not the main thing.
It's how they heal skin.
It's just one of the many things that movie is throwing out. Megalon in a supporting role. Best thriller, where the villain is time. Saturday Night. I don't know if you know this. That movie's not a comedy. It's a thriller where the villain is time. And most destructive movie. It ends with us.
Well,
talk about just fucking
it ends.
Everyone.
Well, that's true.
Everyone who saw that movie in theaters.
Yeah, turned into
had a curse upon their family. Yeah. I heard that Lorne is going to fire Jenny Slate again.
Oh no. Yeah, I have a couple bespokes. I don't want to step on Ben's toes at all.
The bespokies.
The bespokies. Best conveyance of information by an object in a film. Which is a little busy, but hang with me.
No, I like
the flyers for Horizon in Horizon and American Saga Part 1. The photocopies in Conclave. The portrait of Bill Clinton in Longlegs, which tells you exactly when this movie is taking place. It is taking place when Bill Clinton is president. It does get bigger every time they cut back to it, I believe. I firmly believe. Obviously, the Notes app in Hitman.
Can I just call a shot quickly off of what you said? I want to pin, praying that it gets a qualifying release. Ribisi might have next year's Putters and Murmurs in the bag.
The thing I'm most excited for in Horizon 2 is Ribisi, to find out what Ribisi's going to do.
Here's a spoiler. You're not going to find out a lot. He is not on screen much, but most of it is puttering and murmuring.
It's the little Yakuza boss in that Simpsons episode where the Japanese mafia comes after Marge Simpson in her pretzel wagon. You just want to see what he's going to do. It's going to be good.
I would have been so angry at how little he has to do in the movie if the end didn't stick the landing so fucking hard.
Okay. You seem genuinely enthused and psyched about Horizon 2.
Thrilled by watching it and just immediately being slot machine payoff. It's the movie starts And at like minute 2,
can we please
we
not do this? Come on, let's stop talking about a movie no one has seen that didn't come out this year.
Will it into release?
Yeah, it'll come out. Don't worry.
My 5th nominee in Best Conveyance of Information by an Object in a Film is obviously the tennis ball against the neck of the racket and Challengers.
A neck movie. Best necks.
Best
Challengers.
necks. Challengers. Very good.
This is like
some napes
that's
in
a
that
great
movie.
example of people like to think that screenwriting is about dialogue. That is a screenwriting decision. That is like beautiful, like structure and setup and payoff.
Yeah, that whole last match is no dialogue, and it's perfect.
When he did that move at the end of the film in a close-up,
and you know he's going to do it,
the crowd I saw it with burst into applause.
Yes.
And it was the most ecstatic
I had
moment
that reaction.
I had in a movie theater last year, where all of us were responding to like, "Fuck, good storytelling."
Yes, that's what.
Like nothing thrills me more than when a movie can build its sort of like its obstacle course so perfectly that at the end, one single image can mean 20,000 things without any words.
Yep.
And we just all know it.
Almost as if Challengers was a great movie and its director should have stood by it more in its award season push.
Luca is a really normal and not ornery guy who makes normal decisions, guys.
And also, to be fair, in his defense, he could only stay above water on ground for so long before he was going to get caught for being a sea monster.
Why you win a bike race?
He couldn't campaign for 2 movies and also check in with his fish parents.
That's true.
With Maya Rudolph and
Jim Gaffigan.
There you go.
The most Italian sea monsters.
Good movie.
It is a good movie.
That movie rules.
My
Movies
other
for cool kids.
My other bespoke category is best performance.
Wait, who's the winner in that category?
Oh, sorry. My winner in that category.
It's a tennis ball.
It's the tennis ball.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
which is kind of a huge upset because, like, I did not think anything was beating Notes app after I saw him.
But this is, by the way, good category. I think that one's a perennial now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Best performance by an actor of another actor.
Mm.
Austin Butler playing Stellan Skarsgård in Dune Part 2.
Pretty good.
Nicholas Podani is the guy's name as Billy Crystal in Saturday Night.
I went to see this film.
It's such
I don't know
subtly
if you guys know
accurate
this.
portrayal.
That movie is quietly a thriller in the villainous time.
What?
But it's my favorite, secretly a Western of this year. He comes
There's a lot of people playing famous people in that movie.
He comes on screen, says 2 words, and I went like, holy shit.
Right?
Like I was thrown back in my chair.
I can't believe he's nailing young, not famous Crystal.
And I'm also like,
soap era Billy Crystal.
In real time, like I've never heard anyone do a Crystal.
Right, I guess.
Right.
I hear someone do it at the top of Blankies every year.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm expecting. I'm like, some guy's going to come on and be like, Sully!
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle!
He is like stunning.
He's great.
Perfect.
He's great. I love him. Yeah. Aaron Taylor Johnson doing
By the way, that's become the new guy who beats me out for every role I want. Go on.
Madani,
he's a great actor.
Yeah, he's good.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is Matthew McConaughey in The Fall Guy. Endlessly amusing. I thought it was.
Yeah. Talk about another guy who needs to not be a leading man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's so great when he like shows up at a like pinch hitter kind of a.
Did you like him in Nosferatu?
I did like him in Nosferatu. Actually,
he's enough of this Nosferatu nonsense.
Yes,
yep.
great.
I fucking hate this shit.
You know what I didn't like him in?
What?
Craven the Hunter.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
You should go hunt it.
I tried to. I fucking was texting showtimes to Alex Perry as they dwindled rapidly.
As they pulled them from the site.
Like 10:40 a.m. or bust.
Yep.
And then he was just busy, and then that was that.
I was gonna go with a crew to see it in 40X, and we all got a head cold and all canceled. Like 10 of us had bought tickets. And
you would have been
tickets.
the only box office for that movie.
Yes, and then it was gone the next day.
It was gone.
There was one performance in that movie you will love, and I bet you can't guess who it's from.
Aaron DeBose?
Who else is even in there?
Yeah,
Russell Crowe.
Oh, well, I'm sure all of that, of course.
You're going to fucking eat that up with a
he's
fucking
much like with Thor and everything, you know, post-Exorcist, he's just playing another Greek diner owner.
No, he plays a Russian monster.
But it's always Greek diner owner.
Is. Yeah, The Last Exorcist is very much
As David would say, it's a sensitive, thoughtful Joe, sorry. Go on.
2 more. Jason Schwartzman playing Stanley Tucci in Queer.
Interesting.
Jason Schwartzman. Who knew that Jason Schwartzman playing gay is just Stanley Tucci? It's fantastic.
Okay.
And then Jodie Comer playing Bill Swertsky from the Superfans in The Bikeriders.
A very close Best Actress candidate for me.
She's good in the movie, but the accent is insane. She sounds absolutely insane.
Fucking so bad.
She's so good in it. David's high on crack for not respecting art.
I like Jodie Comer though.
She's wonderful in that movie.
It does make me sound insane.
Yeah, good. I feel like I'm sitting back in the multiplex.
I feel like I'm sitting back and closing my eyes and dreaming of other things during that boring ass quaalude of a film.
I'm leaning in.
Yeah, I'm leaning in and falling out of my seat.
You can't do both directions.
I'm asleep.
You can't say you're asleep in both directions.
Yes,
It's one
I
or the
am.
other.
That's the one movie that made me asleep in both directions.
Movie's good. David's rude.
Jeff Nichols, keep making more movies.
Thank you.
Yep. Keep making those C pluses.
Oh my God.
The second C
There's
plus
no
factory.
director you're ruder to.
That guy is a cheap supermarket because he's C-Town.
Wow. Wow.
Is that going to travel, or are there only C-Towns in New York?
I've never seen a C-Town outside of.
It's a Northeast supermarket.
I did my best. Do you guys want to give me your best directors, or do we have any more?
No, I'm out of bullets.
Yeah, best going live on Instagram goes to Lady Raven for Trap.
Yep.
Over Zachary Levi?
Zachary Levi, of course, gets best crayon. I don't know what to give that guy. We need to give that guy something.
Does he even win best crayon? Can we find 5 other nominees fast?
He needs some medicine.
Can we block him out?
Yeah.
There's no one who's more anti-medicine where I'm like, you might need some medicine. You need to go to the doctor.
You are following the exact wrong path.
Zachary Levi showed up at the fucking Horizon Chapter 2 premiere, and I was like, don't make me feel like I'm not allowed to like this.
Jump scaring people there.
He's also so tall.
Yeah, he's very tall.
Ugh, it sucks.
That's why he gets to play fucking Shazam or whatever. Best normal chill sculpture to have in your house. Oddity. Did you guys see Oddity?
I liked Oddity.
I didn't see Oddity.
The Wooden Man in Oddity.
Remind me which one
definitely
is
the best
that?
I think is it Australian? I think it's Australian.
Okay.
Is it not Welsh?
Might be fucking Welsh. I don't know.
Might
It's
be
something or
fucking
other.
Welsh.
Something.
No, it's Irish. Maybe it might be Irish.
I think
but
it
it's
is
a
Irish.
horror movie about someone who gets the most fucked up sculpture in the world and puts it in their house, and they're like,
It's like a vengeance.
I don't think
movie.
anything's gonna go on with this. But
Don't kill a witch's sister is basically the lesson of that movie.
A best exposition about like the past and mythic stuff. Ty Olwen Fouret in both The Watchers and Tarot shows up in both movies to like dispense like here's the lore of the movie.
Is that the old lady? She's good.
She's good.
The
She's like
Watchers
this
is not
like
a good
legendary
movie, but,
Irish.
like-
No, The Watchers rocks.
Oh, okay.
I'm pro The Watchers.
Okay.
Did you see The Watchers?
I still haven't seen it.
Gotta check it out. I don't know. Best baseball cap, Jason Bateman and Carry On.
I still haven't watched that either.
You just said that like, you haven't watched that, buddy?
Hey, buddy. And I haven't caught that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else we want to shout out?
That's stuck in the Netflix pit for me.
Yeah.
But look, I'm
But
happy
it's
Colin
fun.
Sarah's back. What was the
he's
thing I
back.
saw?
Best movie that for 10 minutes you're like, we are fucking cooking. And then it kind of gets a little boring. Natalie Erica James's Apartment 7A.
Oh,
I didn't see that.
Which like we all love the first Omen, directed by a friend of the show, Arkasha Stevenson. And that one similarly, you're like, oh, she's doing stuff here. Like this is actually more than just like a sort of rote TV prequel to Rosemary's Baby. Has this amazing sequence in the middle of the movie, but some of it's a little boring.
There was something I saw.
What was it?
Now I'm trying to remember, but it was you know what it was? It was Flight Risk.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'm like, if Colette Sarah directed Flight Risk, it would be winning Best Picture next year.
It's just directed by some bum called Mel Gibson. He's an Oscar winner, I'm seeing here.
No, I checked the poster recently, and I think it's from the director of Apocalypto and Hacksaw Ridge. No name needed.
Who are your best directors, guys?
Best Director.
My Best Director nominees are Luca Guadagnino. I was thinking about making another Pixar joke, and why put that word disrespect on his name. George Miller for Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Oh, sorry, I'm reading off the wrong list. Worst directors of movies I hate. Mike Cheslick for Hundreds of Beavers. Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys. Michael E. for Hard Truths.
It's a very hard truth.
It's the hardest truth of all.
It's a nominee.
Yeah.
My list is Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, Luca Guadagnino for Challengers, Julio Torres for Problemista,
Ooh.
Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys, and Matthew Rankin for Universal Language.
Oh, I need to see that.
I think you will both
that's now
like it.
now in theaters.
Yeah.
Canadian-Iranian film. that I've been told is really, really good. My nominees are Annie Baker for Janet Planet, Radu Jude for Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World, Luca Guadagnino, all 3 nominees for challengers, Mike Lee for Hard Truths, and Ramel Ross for Nickel Voice.
My winner is Ramel Ross.
My winner is Ramel Ross.
My movie of the winner is Luca Guadagnino for Challenge.
Yeah, well, it's a great movie.
And you know what? I'll say
normal guy.
You can feel the presence of a director on that movie.
Oh, interesting. But not in his other films.
No.
Not a showy filmmaker.
Should we just go straight into Best Picture? Because I feel like these are overlapping conversations.
Yes, we should.
Sure.
I will say I watched his first movie, The Protagonist, because it was on Mubi. You know how like Luca kind of tried to make good movies for 10 years before he suddenly started making them?
I didn't see any of them before I Am Love.
Same. No one has.
Yeah, that was the first.
But they put The Protagonist from 1999 with Tilda Swinton on Mubi, and I'm like, how bad could it be? In 10 minutes, and I was like, oh no, this stinks.
Oh no,
whoa.
But hey, isn't that part of the fun of doing this podcast when we see someone come out of the dirt?
But you're like, I don't understand how the filmmaker I love, it's trying stuff. So you're kind of like, I guess he was trying stuff and not doing a good. But
there were, I mean, Park Chan-wook's another example. Stanley Kubrick's another example where the first movie almost feels like they have to do every single thing wrong. To then, by process of elimination, emerge like seemingly fully formed.
I'll give you the Blankies nominees were Ramel Ross 5. I'm going from the bottom up. Ramel Ross, Sean Baker for Nora, Jane Schoenbrunn, Denis Villeneuve, Luca Guadagnino.
Best Picture.
So your top 10s for the year, basically, is what we're going to do next for Best Picture. Do you want to do them bottom up?
I'm going to do bottom up.
Okay, you go first.
Number 10, Better Man.
Wow.
Loved it.
Monkey.
Loved it.
Monkey.
Loved it. Number 9, The People's Joker. Number 8, Hundreds of Beavers. Number 7, Long Legs.
This is a Griff list.
This is a real Griff list. Number 6, A Different Man. Number 5, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
No, number 500, you mean.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Number 4, Hard Truths. Number 3, I Saw the TV Glow. Number 2, Nickel Boys. Number 1, Challengers. At the end of the day, I just, like, that was the most transcendent experience I had watching a movie. And I kept being like, is that still my number 1? It feels kind of poppy to be my number 1. But, like...
Open that pop.
God, I love soda.
Exactly. Drink that bubbly soda.
Yeah.
Starting from number 10, my number 10 is I Saw the TV Glow. Number 9 is Nickel Boys. Number 8 is Universal Language. Number 7 is Hard Truths. Number 6 is I'm Still Here. Number 5, A Different Man. 4, Challengers. 3, His Three Daughters. 2, The Brutalist. And my number 1 movie of the year, which I watched this morning just to make sure, was Problemista.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a great movie.
I love possibly future guests.
I'd love to get Julio back.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think I recently
schedule.
Yeah, I think I recently realized I somehow don't have any of his contact information.
But what was
I was like, how did we get him on the first time? Did we literally like whisper into a pigeon's ear?
It kind of was. We did basically whisper into a pigeon's ear, or like write something on a Lego brick and leave it on the subway. Like, we DM'd him. I think there was a Twitter. Someone had a Twitter. And he was,
I mean, I've known him for a while.
Of course.
I swear at one point I had some direct contact.
But I think it was a social media contact. Like, I don't think we've ever had a phone number because I'm not even convinced he has a phone.
No.
No, nothing about him would indicate that he would have
he's got a pocket full of precious gems.
I mean, you know,
what was the movie that he
Edward Scissorhands? And it's one of those episodes where, like, the day before we were like, are we just going to do that one without a guest? And then Julio was like, hey, I'm coming. Yeah.
Right. There was another movie I feel like this year where we were like, fuck, that'd be a good time to get Julio back. And we talked about it, and then I was like, I actually don't know how to reach him.
I love Julio Torres, as do you, as do I think everybody here. He's a great guy. But I was really blown away by how like emotionally intelligent and beautiful Problemista was.
Yes. I will say this. I obviously did not like it as much as you did. And I was like, this is like a good first movie. He's like working out some stuff. And then like the last 20 minutes, I was really impressed by how hard it all paid off. There are certain ways in which I think it like the setup is almost to the movie's detriment. It needs to hold back on certain things in order to make that payoff work. But I was like, the last 20 minutes of it worked for me so fucking hard.
There are so many ways that he could have just sort of rested on quirky, strange, you know, I'm Julio Torres, I love shapes, like that kind of a thing. I think it's an incredibly funny movie is the other thing, though. It's in, like, there's so much like actual overt, like out loud comedy. And then to pull it together and in a really sort of like there's a lot of good insight in that movie. There's a lot of insight in that movie to
the human condition,
his specific experience, and like the specific experience of people trying to emigrate to the country and like stay in the country, but also
every single
universal creative
in that movie is so well observed.
Yes.
Yes.
And like Tilda Swinton's character, who is like simultaneously a dragon lady cartoon and also admirable in certain ways.
Same with the racist
and
character,
understandable,
which could just be a kind of offhand note. The amount of time it spends in investing in this character who's gone. Yeah. David, you're 10.
My 10 are from bottom up. Red Rooms, number 10, which I haven't mentioned on this podcast. I should have fucking nominated Juliette Garepi in actress, but I had to give Naomi Scott her flowers. But a great, insanely freaky Canadian horror film that I think a lot of people are discovering, including me, late in the race. Number 9, Evil Does Not Exist. Number 8, Trap. Number 7, I Saw the TV Glow. 6, Dune Part 2. 5, Janet Planet. 4, Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World. Great Romanian movie that everyone should watch. You should. You'll like it, Griff. It's got a view of society that I think you'll respond to. 3 challengers, 2 hard truths, 1 nickel boys.
Director was so overflowing with people I wanted to nominate for best director. I thought so many of these, like I don't always subscribe to the best movie is the best directed movie always. Like at some point I love the movies that I love so much, and certain movies feel like they have more of a directorial you're taking a little bit more of a chance as a director, or you're like taking on maybe a bigger sort of project. But like Aaron Schimberg for A Different Man, Jane Schoenbrunn, Coralie Farja, obviously Villeneuve and Sean Baker, and Walter Salles for I'm Still Here. Have you guys seen I'm Still Here?
Yeah, I saw it last night. I liked it. Yeah,
I really was so engrossed by that movie. I thought I was just like, it really does grab you by the shoulders. And
I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean this in any backhanded way, but this was like my profound takeaway from watching the movie in a certain way, right? The Academy's changed so much. It's gotten so much more international. It used to be so rare that a foreign language film crossed over into any other categories. Now it's obviously more commonplace, right? And it used to be that when it would break through, there was this air of like, this is the kind of shit that could never get made in America, right? Not that it was like, the studio system would never support this.
Foreign.
Right,
it's so
right. These other countries are artier and whatever. And I watched that and I was like, this is the kind of movie that studios used to be great at making for 30 years.
Yeah, sure.
And then for 30 years after that, it was supplanted by like Focus and Searchlight and the mini majors making them. And now it kind of like we need to import our like incredibly sturdy, intelligent political
Which has been happening since, the Miramax era of the 90s and all of that. And it feels like, much like last year, this was what's the cooking movie, The Taste of Things?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Every year there's a movie where I'm like, Harvey Weinstein wants to break out of prison to run the Oscar campaign for this movie. He's like, I'm going to call a congressional hearing. I'm going to have a press conference.
That's so true about The Taste of Things.
Have you seen it?
The Taste of Things I was like, are we sure Harvey's in jail? Like, and I love that movie, to be clear. I'm just talking about the kind of sort of middle brow adult foreign drama that like clear, Miramax
I'm not saying that I'm Still Here is middlebrow, but I'm saying there's a degree of being like,
it's not high art.
Yeah, it's incredibly well made. Right. It's like a very affecting story. The casting at the end is very impactful, not surprising to me.
I also saw it like maybe 2 days after the election. So
what?
There was an election. It hit particularly hard, certainly harder than when I saw Doctor Strange the day after the last time.
I did one of those.
So.
Give me the news. Look, it's a good time for movies at the top, and there's lots of interesting stuff in the middle. This was not my favorite movie year.
Wasn't mine either. It was not my number one favorite movie year of all time.
Which, of course, was 1928. What a great year. But
I do feel like I've heard quite a few people calling it like a bad year for movies.
And I just
I don't think there's ever a bad year for movies is the thing.
No, not really.
If you just slice off the top.
Except for 2011. Like, that's the only bad year for movies. But no, I think you slice off the top.
Wasn't 2011 Margaret and Moneyball, or was that 2012?
No,
2011 was Margaret and Money. It's a really bad Oscar year.
It's a very bad Oscar year.
But 2011, my top 10 is Margaret, Moneyball, Certified Copy, Tree of Life.
Certified Copy, so good.
Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, Ghost Protocol, Uncle Boon Me, Archipelago, Tinker Tailor, Fast Five. That's a great top 10.
Fast Five was obviously in my my 10. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I had my top 5 were all M movies, and now I'm trying to remember what the other ones would have been. But
Martha,
it was definitely
Marcy,
Off the top of my head,
I like
Margaret
quite a bit.
is up there. Martha,
Margaret was my
Marcy,
number one. Yeah.
Certified Copy, Hannah. Joe writes Hannah. Is that your Hannah? War Horse, of course.
Look, there's some positive takeaways from this year. As we said, the Inside Out 2 lesson. David's doing a slide whistle?
Oh, it's my penis on the mention of War Horse going.
First of all, that was kind of impressive. David mimed the slide whistle really well and did the sound. But he was doing the motion.
Yeah. No, it was good.
It was good.
Good improv. Yeah.
Yeah, there was good stuff this year, and I think there were good takeaways. And I feel like, as you said, there was like this feeling of catastrophe when all the May movies underperformed. And then immediately it was just like, no, people showed up in fucking droves for Inside Out 2 and Twisters and Deadpool and Wolverine. And It Ends With Us and some other things.
Movies of the exact same level of
look,
quality.
you can't automatically trick people into a blockbuster anymore. You have to give them something they want to see. And if they want to see it, they'll show up in droves. And I think the things that people are showing up for is diversifying a little bit. It's not just the same couple fucking tentpole franchises. And I think also that all that doomsdaying was forgetting that like Dune and fucking Godzilla were just like genuine blockbusters in the first 3 months of the year. The thing I'm always pointing at is like January, you had Beekeeper and Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Both make like 80 million domestic, close
Bob
to
Marley,
200
One Love
worldwide.
is this close from 100 million domestic.
And like Mean Girls and Beekeeper were supposed to go straight to streaming. And I was like, here's the lesson. Make more movies like fucking this. Make mid-sized films.
Well, the things that encourage me is Nosferatu 95 domestic, Complete Unknown 71 domestic. Like, those kinds of movies are still getting, they're not, knocking it down like Oppenheimer did.
David and I were talking about the sort of like rise of like quote unquote auteur horror, which is like the horror which used to be this autopilot, every horror movie opens to 20 and makes 50. Basically had like more kind of like actual flops. But the through line is like movies are being sold on Oz Perkins, on like Damien Leone, like all these people, which is like exciting. It's like it speaks to a culture that is engaged with the idea of like movies are made by people and visions and all that sort of stuff. All that sort of stuff.
Movies are good. Ben, can you save us?
Yeah, Ben, do some stuff. You got some stuff planned, right?
Yeah. So it's that time in the episode of our Blankies episodes where I
relaxing.
I do some of my original categories. So to start things off, as I do every year, we have, of course, the Wetties, the Golden Mop,
right?
The slickest flicks of the year.
I love when he says slickest flicks of the year.
It's the movies that soak through.
Oh boy.
What splished? What splashed?
Right.
Okay. Good questions. Good questions.
Who dunked?
Keep going.
Rub-a-dub-dub, I'm taking a bath.
I don't think I quite understand the parameters of this category. Can you
the films are
explain to
wet?
me a little more?
It's the wettest films. All right, so number 1, Twisters. Okay, not only is there rain, okay, which there's an abundance of rain.
That's true.
But Glenn, he's not just giving. My man's pouring out Riz.
This is true.
Oh, you're saying his acting is so charismatic that he's wet.
It's dripping Riz.
He's wet with Riz.
It's dripping Riz. I like this.
He's glistening with Riz.
I like this. Yeah.
Okay, number 2, The Substance.
Yeah. It's a moist.
It's a squishy movie.
It's just there's so many fluids being represented in this film.
Oh, yeah.
Of various colors, a rainbow of fluids.
Yeah.
Yep.
A cornucopia
going
of
in,
fluids.
going out, like yeah.
Number 3, Challengers. It's a sweaty movie.
Sweaty.
A lot of beads.
Very sweaty.
Right, but in the best way.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because often on the show we label movies as sweaty because it's just like
a sauna scene.
Half-baked.
Right.
A lot of
Working too hard.
on-court sweating.
Yes.
But yeah, the actors are hot, right? Not only are the actors are hot, but I walked away perspiring after seeing that.
Okay.
Number 4, We Live in a Time.
Oh, the We Live in Time.
The Andrew Garfield.
We Live in Time. Excuse me. So now when I say that I ugly cried during
Yeah, you shouldn't have seen that one, Ben.
This
Honestly, I would have kept you away from it.
ugly like Donald Trump's heart ugly.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm getting political.
Oh, that's ugly.
Destroyed. Truly destroyed. Clean up on aisle my ass.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. And then number 5, unfortunately, is Moana 2.
No,
That's a lot of water.
It was
wet.
It's extremely wet. Yeah, please.
It's a movie for losers, but it is
mention the Young Woman in the Sea, which I know you haven't seen.
Oh yeah,
that's a swimming movie.
That one
very
belongs
wet.
in the sea.
I missed that one.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
Well, if you like wet movies,
Flow is very wet.
Yeah, Flow.
Yeah, Flow. I can't believe you haven't seen, right?
You'll enjoy that. With
Friend of the show, Jordan Fish, had suggested it.
I think you'll really like it.
It's a cat in water, basically.
I know.
There's
I think you'll cry, but
there's a bird.
You'll cry at like very
won't
big
ugly cry.
moments.
You
It's
won't
not
ugly
we live in
No.
time crying. You'll cry
No.
at moments of like, oh my God, the cat is scared. You know?
Sure.
You'll cry at moments of intimacy.
Okay. All right,
Can I
can
throw out a
fuck with
couple
that.
I'm surprised you didn't include?
Well, may I just finish my point on
please.
Moana 2? And then, yes, please. I just wanted to, though, say, Can I Get a Chiho has maybe some of the sweatiest lyrics of all time.
That's a song? Can I get a Chiho?
David.
It is indeed it's a rap
boy.
song
No.
performed by Dwayne.
Johnson,
Wayne,
of course.
sure.
Built around his famous catchphrase, which you remember definitely was there in the first movie.
He does say it in the first movie.
Does he?
I've seen Moana, 1 to 200 times. Yes, he says it.
He says it 800 times in this movie.
I would say he probably says it like 3 times in Moana. He says it when he's about to turn into something.
Okay, because in this it feels like a Marty McFly chicken thing.
Sure.
Where like, you're telling us this was your deal the whole time? The song sucks.
But what are some other films that
look,
could
Flow
have
is a
made-
big snub, but you just haven't seen it yet. Rude to Pool Man.
He hasn't seen.
I'm not gonna go see fucking Pool Man.
It's wet.
I'm sure it is.
That guy's fishing out leaves the whole time.
Yeah.
Also, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Well, the water's frozen in that one.
Yeah, but imagine what happens at the end of that movie.
Honestly, I saw it.
They stop the day it's going to start melting. City's about to get wet as hell.
I saw that movie and I could not tell you a single thing that happened in it.
It is gone.
It's just gone.
I
from my
remember being
memory.
like, this is better than I thought it was going to be, but I
didn't
also
hate
don't
it,
remember it.
But
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah.
Slimer almost is a Putters and Murmurs candidate.
What else? What else you got, Benny?
Okay, well, I think I've sort of decided that, of course, there is the films that should be remade with, and then I, pick out all of these kind of absurd,
clown
different
babies.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
But again, I'm going to say, like I did last year, I'm sick of remakes. I'm sick of just everything being so IP driven that, as in a protest, I will not continue to generate more content.
I like that. Also saves you some time.
That's right. Okay, but moving right along, we have, of course, the no thank yous. Number 1 at the top, Amelia Perez. Never before have I avoided something that somehow also doesn't exist. It's as if the culture is telling me, look, ghosts exist. And I'm like, sorry, what? Because I'm wearing noise-canceling headphones. Number 2, Blink Twice. I did, and suddenly the movie stopped playing because I had left the theater.
No, there you go. Wow, you got out of there fast.
Yes, I did.
That movie's not very good.
Not very good and with a horrible ending.
I would agree with that. Audrey Arjona is kind of incredible in it, though. Half considered nominating.
No, she's very good. She's very good.
Number 3, The Apprentice. Methinks no one asked for this.
I do think it's quite a good film.
I like the
But I made the in retrospect, great choice to see it 4 days before the election. I could not imagine watching it now.
Yeah. Number 4, Nosferatu Hunk Shoe. Boring.
How dare you call my movie boring?
You try to sleep with me atop you like a weighted
What
blanket.
what a
Not that
beautiful
heavy, though.
looking movie.
Sure.
Like great costuming. It's fucking dirty and
What
shit.
about the
stinky?
bits it provides?
But it was boring.
No, come closer. Take 20 minutes to come closer.
Boring like a drill.
Oh, slow down. Slow down.
Like
Not
it's-
that fast.
Do
like
you
a
want to
drill.
open my coffin? You can take your time. Carry on, sorry.
That's fine. Okay,
I
and
just
then
couldn't stop
lastly,
thinking about how sticky that mustache would be with all the blood.
Oh,
stuff.
man.
yeah.
Blood, the bugs.
The blood and the bugs.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that.
Okay, so lastly, I just struggled, and it ended up just kind of being a 3-way tie between Mufasa, If, and Red One. And what
film
they,
of the year?
well, just like what they all share for me is I would
for the Nobel Peace Prize.
yeah. What they all have in common for me, like, is that I would prefer to go to prison than watch any of those movies.
Well, because at least there you can put on good plays.
I have also not seen any of those movies.
I think Red One is my dead bottom of the year. It has to be. I think it's one of the worst things our culture's ever produced.
My bottom of the year currently is Joker Folio Do. Carry on, Bem.
My second to worst is Ricky Stanicky, a movie that we should not let get away with its crimes. It's somehow gone under the radar.
Well, because nobody saw it.
Zac Efron? Is that Ricky
Correct.
Stanicky? Okay, yeah.
Okay, so honorable mention, Saturday Night. I had fun. I thought it was good.
I had fun with Saturday Night. I will agree with you, Ben.
Okay, it's not like reinventing the wheel. It's a stupid, predictable biopic, but fuck it. I liked it.
It's not a biopic because I think of it more as a thriller where the villain is
Who's the villain there?
time.
Nosferatu. Sorry, I mean time.
I didn't care for it.
This is carrying over from last year. I guess it's become now a new award, Violator Achievement Award, movies that remind me the most of the relationship between Violator and Spawn.
Last year the winner was Boy in the Heron.
Yes. Yeah. Who had Violator energy this year is Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain.
My friends, he's not wrong.
What an absolute monster of a person.
And of course, when I saw Jesse Eisenberg come on screen in that film, I went, man, this guy's got huge chains and ectoplasm energy. Never before has a character felt more like Spawn.
The Prince of Hell himself?
No, I think you're right.
Megalopolis, I love when an artist sees through their vision uncompromised by coherence. Vision doesn't need to make sense.
Agree. Yeah.
It can just
especially
be
if you lose one of your eyes, as he does in that movie.
Crazy.
Put the WoW Platinum in the world that you want to see.
Yeah. Wicked Little Letters. What a fucking steaming bag of fun.
You saw that?
I did. Some of my favorite insults include, you really are a tricksy old fucker. You belong in hell probably. And you're a sad, stinky bitch as well.
That movie went direct to Cobble Hill Cinemas. That's a joke for 10 people.
I was angry at myself for not seeing that. I was like, I bet I would love this.
It's a fucking delight. Okay,
it's Olivia Colman and Jesse Buckley writing mean letters to each other.
In like an English town.
Yeah.
Sounds cool as hell.
It's so good.
It sounds so funny.
I almost made it my annual TIFF cozy watch when I'm too far into TIFF and I'm too stressed. And this year was the Steve Coogan movie with the penguin.
I was about to ask. I saw a trailer for that yesterday before I'm still here. That's the most Sony Pictures classic ass movie
made up shit
I have ever seen.
To go see that?
Yep.
Wait, am I the only one that saw this movie?
Correct.
Wicked Little Letters. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
That literally never happened.
When did you see it? Where? Like, how did you see it
My
on TV?
dad told me about it, and I realized this is a major, like, my dad was like, I saw this really funny movie.
British
you
film.
need to check it out. And it's very, like,
My
his
wife
vibe.
and I debated seeing that film, and I think picked something else. I have not gotten around to it. Did you see it in theaters?
No.
Okay.
Other swear words favorite swears or insults. You aging fucking soft cock streaks of a hot horse piss.
This is all in that movie?
Correct. And I'll leave you with, you mangy old titless turnip.
Wow.
God, are we going to have to like record an addendum to this episode when we all see it and it sweeps every category?
Best depiction of Kendrick versus Drake, Wicked Little Letters.
Amazing.
Wow.
What else?
But that's it. That's it.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, what a year.
What a year.
What a
Nice.
year.
What a year it has been. What a year for film.
A decade of dreams.
A decade of dreams continue.
Joe, thank you for being here.
Joe,
Thank
thank you
you.
for being here.
Every year I have such a good time at this. So
Hey, Joe, thank you for being here. It's me, Bob Dylan.
And
that's actually a shockingly Timmy-esque.
I'm really
Dylan
excited
that
about
you're
our
giving.
guest we have here today. He loves to give out awards and talk about Oscar
fuck you,
buzz.
Pete. Shut up. I'm going to play this guitar till you get mad.
Good movie that appeared on none of my categories this year.
unknown.
I
really
liked
liked
Complete Unknown a tremendous amount. It really worked for
I
me.
literally walked out. I texted people. I'm like, I liked it. I don't know if other people are going to like it, but like, I think I liked it. And then
I thought it was
other
really
people
smart.
also liked it. I was happy with that.
Joe, this had Oscar buzz.
This had Oscar buzz.
I'll come on for Igby. I just hate doing Zoom episodes,
I know,
but I got to
listen,
do it. I
I
got to
understand it.
especially after Kieran wins. Yes.
I hate the little window. The box on the screen. I feel like I'm in a box in a box in a box.
I did enjoy dropping into Doughboys via Zoom because I was watching you guys for a minute before I got to drop for more than a minute, like 10 minutes.
But also you not knowing the most famous conversation and then getting brought into it, that couldn't have gone any better.
It was so organically funny because I did not know what we were talking about. That I listened to the episode and my reaction that it's bubbling up 2 hours later. It was great.
Gardner and Weiger texted each other and were like, I have a conspiracy that Griffin came to LA with the explicit goal of recording the longest episode of each show. And I said to you in confidence, my goal was like, I want to be on really good behavior. I want to come in tight, on rails, deliver normal episodes, and silence the haters. And I fucked up.
Well,
I fucked up.
You fucked up. You fucked up.
I fucked up.
I do want to also, if
Snake is more famous than Pokeball.
If the Blankies want to sign up for another Patreon,
hell
there,
yes.
To me, myself, and I chugging along 3 episodes a month for $5 on Patreon. I've got some blank check familiars there. I just had Fran Hoffner on to talk about
Fran Hoffner.
The Scarlet Letter.
Mhm.
Katie Rich is on often. Richard Lawson was on to talk about Disclosure.
Mhm.
Just lots of real good fun. We're in the thick of the like 90s stuff.
I love it.
So
90s.
yeah.
90s.
Not a great decade for her. At the end.
Yeah, the end it was bad. The early part she was raking
start
in
is
money
good.
hand over fist. So yeah. Yeah.
I'm really close to Count Von Count, I realize.
1,
2.
Cookie Monster and Count Von Count combined is kind of the
I have killed Mr. Noodle.
Ben, next week on the calendar is
Next week on the
Color
calendar.
Purple?
Next week on the... Next week
I'm
is-
losing my Spielberg
No,
chronology.
the
in my
film
head.
after E.T. the Extraterrestrial is surely
Color Purple?
Indiana
Oh, no,
Jones
it's
and the
Temple of
Temple of
Doom,
Doom.
Yeah.
with Olivia Craig.
Nice.
An episode that will make certain people very angry at
Why?
us for
Because
being
we don't like
dismissive.
that movie very much.
I don't like the movie. That is annoying.
I feel like that's the Indiana Jones movie most people don't like.
That's
though.
right, but
But-
then there's lots of people who are like, it's secretly the best.
Oh, guys.
And I'm like, it's the best at annoying me.
The real secret is shut up.
Anyway, it's a fun episode.
All right.
Yeah.
We talk
Very
about
fun.
a lot of stuff.
Lives the best.
I promise this. We talked about a lot of stuff in that episode. And it's on topic.
We recorded that like, I don't
We
know,
recorded that
in
5
April.
years
I don't
ago.
fucking remember when we recorded
Yeah,
that.
listening to you guys these days is really a journey to the past, kind of a Aaliyah style.
We somehow recorded the Temple of Doom episode before David and I had met.
It's amazing.
Anyway, this guy seems to be pretty smart. I don't know who he is.
the episode ends with you going, weird, I got a text about videology trivia.
Oh,
Want to come with
God.
me?
Amazing.
Anyway, Decade of Dreams.
Hey, this episode will be coming out kind of quickly after we record. We recorded.
Yeah, this is a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Good job, everybody.
Good job,
Incredible
everybody. I
work.
love you guys all.
Love you, Joe. And yeah, we'll see you next year for Blankies edition 11.
Yes.
11.
A new decade, a new beginning.
A new beginning.
hope.
And you know what? People keep asking for, we did our decade best of Blankies for the 2010s.
We did, and it brought on the pandemic.
It did unfortunately bring in the pandemic.
Yeah.
That and Paul King not making Paddington 3.
Yeah. We got our culprits.
It would be another 5 years before we could do the 2020s Blankies.
True.
But I do
I'll
feel
mark
like
it on my calendar.
I hear cries for people begging us to go backwards and to maybe in a future year do a
An old.
2000s and 90s and 80s or something. I think it'd be fun to. I'm just pinning it as a.
I don't quite have the spreadsheet that old spreadsheet
It would take some
here
work
has, but
to put together, but I could do
I've
it.
got a
do it
Word
right now.
document. I've got an unruly Word document that stretches back into the 90s and
I
beyond.
stayed on text edit for too long.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm in
I
the
lost
process
a lot of my
trying
yearly
to transfer
documents.
to
Yeah.
Google Sheets, and
Right.
it is a process.
Now I use the Notes app, which is better.
You are my affliction.
Thank you all for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe.
Didn't you pre-record that shit, and so we don't have to do it anymore?
Yeah, but this is the one part I say at the end. This is how I don't credit everybody. The crediting of the people who work on the show happens in a pre-recorded segment. You keep not having the confidence that I know how to end the episode, which then stretches the episode out longer.
Count, just so you know, that we haven't locked those credits in yet.
Oh, great. So I'm the one who fucked up.
It's quite all right.
Okay. Well, let me go die on a bed of fire now.
But not before snacking on a dep.
And as always, let me snack on a dip.